One spot in VCT China on the line. One team after our playoffs bracket will ascend. Welcome to day 2 of VCT China Ascension, guided by Project Horizon. My name is Zobi and I'm joined by the amazing Rigger to bring you today's upper finals and lower round 1 elimination match. Now, Rigger, we once again are running the gauntlet of 2 best of 3s today, like we did yesterday. So we've seen these 4 teams and we are very familiar with the first 2 teams of our upper finals, one to soon become our grand finalists between Rare Atom and Any Questions. How are we feeling about the matches we saw yesterday and the matches that we have coming up today?
I think yesterday's matches were a good tease to today. Those were the upper semis. So this one is for grand final slot, this first game, and then the second one's an elimination game. So stakes are a lot higher this one. A lot of the mistakes from yesterday hopefully get ironed out today, especially in those elimination brackets, because that's your one chance. You have one more lifeline. In this upper bracket, I think we're going to be seeing a lot more just trying to play for that confidence, trying to be that confident team going through upper brackets and in very NRG-esque form, be the team that wins upper and then wins grand finals. So hopefully we see one of these teams pull that off today. But big game, Rare Atom versus AQ. Any questions is going to be our opener for today, and yeah, there's a lot of talking points about that one.
Absolutely. I mean, you talked about trying to remedy the mistakes of yesterday. Well, these 2 teams won their matches in a pretty decisive 2-0s, despite being double-digit OT affairs at times. And if anything, it's remedying the mistakes of the group stage, right? This is a rematch between Rare Atom and Any Questions from Group B, in terms of it being a 2-0 loss for Any Questions and a 2-0 victory for Rare Atom. But we talked about this yesterday. It doesn't feel like we are going to have the same matchup by any means. It was Lotus, it was Haven, and we talked about how Any Questions, Lotus was still up in the air. They were still figuring out what they wanted to do, and yesterday they definitely hammered it home, I should say, with that upset that's now shown on the bracket over tournament favorites, Dragon Ranger Gaming.
Yeah, I think that's a bigger one. I saw on X a lot of conversation about Simon doing the run. We alluded to it at the end of yesterday. Simon coming from tier 2 or coming from tier 1, falling out, coming to tier 2, and then doing the run with Any Questions. So yeah, big upset yesterday. I think I was surprised, you were surprised. A lot of people were surprised that Any Questions managed to not necessarily steal it, they just outclassed the side of DRG in a lot of ways, and Rare Atom in a similar fashion, in a very close and contested game, outclassed ODG. So it's going to be a bit of a toss-up. I think historically, Rare Atom beats Any Questions. However, rematches tend to favor the loser of the first bracket, because you learn a lot more from defeat than you do from victory. But yeah, this is the side of Rare Atom. Big players to look for from yesterday, at least historically, it was G, as starting on main duelist, and then one of our major matchups, we were talking about Nono versus GRQ is going to be something. It's going to be a big matchup this game, which is that Sentinel, that controller slot. So a lot of impact frags, a lot of anti-lurk, and just general macro chess that's going to go on from the side of Rare Atom. Might give them the win today.
No, absolutely. Actually, looking back at that series between Rare Atom and Any Questions, it was Nono that was that top frag, or I should say highest ACS average over those 2 maps. But this is the entire team for Any Questions that they're going up against, a team that has staged that upset yesterday to be in these upper finals. Danny, Simon, FFs, Eugen, and GRQ, like we mentioned. I think the players that we look forward to was Danny yesterday was on fire when he was finally handed the duelist reins, and a player that I kind of hyped up in the match, and then they just did their job, right? They were very stable, but not like, oh, top frag like they were every other match of the group stage, was Simon. So if he again can come alive, that's only a plus for this team. And especially if we get a repeat map like Haven where he takes on that Neon and is very self-sufficient, right? It's not like he has a rare pair with a Sova or with a Breach like you're used to seeing. He just on his own goes and slays, and I think that's something to keep an eye on as well.
Yeah, I think especially for the side of Any Questions, there was a lot of queries about the Ascent comp, where we had, I think, Eugen on the Chamber and Danny, the collegiate prodigy from NA, on the Yoru. And then come map 2, they swapped it around. So Any Questions has one of the bigger boons on their side, that they have such a deep map pool. They alluded to it in the interview yesterday, that they can play literally anything to a really high level. Rare Atom seems slightly more standard in the way they approach their comping and their macro ideas. So we're gonna see a bit of a clash here. Does that individual depth of expression in the map pool from any questions clash with Rare Atom's more standard, more rigid understanding of the way the game is played? I think a big thing is Rare Atom's coach loves the fundamentals. He hates the small mistakes. He's calling timeouts on round 4 based off a rifle that dropped at a random time. So yeah, here's Hugin. As we mentioned, Hugin was the chamber who I can attribute a lot of success in like par with Danny on Ascent. And on that Neon, especially on Lotus, found a lot of value there. So Eugen's definitely someone to look out for. In Pinion, Eugen is ally. There's a running joke going around that when Eugen is doing well, he's ally. When he's throwing, he's enemy. So, and then Garon is a big impact fragger. I don't think I can sing this man's praises enough.
Yeah, I think in terms of just the head-to-head, I think him being on this initiator that's not an IGL role, since Midnight takes on the IGL roles, allows him to be a little bit more selfish, I'd say, versus FS that we saw yesterday. Had insane impact frags, but he was definitely more like muted in terms of statistical performance, but the calls, the mid-rounds were so on point against a team like Dragon Ranger Gaming, who has these really threatening players like Spirit Z1 that you really want to avoid in all ideality. But getting ready to jump into the game, getting our teams on stage in the action, let's do a little prediction time in terms of the maps you're going to see. We talked about it a little bit in the green room. I was expecting them not to try and go back to Haven, at least in AQ's favor, because they picked into it, they lost it, versus their Ascent I could see being a lot stronger since it's not up Rare Atom's alley. Other than that, I could see we could just a Lotus rerun. And map 3 is where I was like, don't know what we're going to get, Rigger.
Yeah, so both these sides, the side of, I think it is GR or RA, so Rare Atom does not like Abyss, and the side of any questions does not like Bind. So we're not going to see those at all, at least not on the VFD. Those are just fully gone. So the only other options here are Sunset, which RA played their first game of Sunset, first map of Sunset yesterday, and neither of these teams have played Corona. So yeah, it looked good. It looked really, really good, and especially the way they were managing their recon, and especially snowballing their ultis was a big thing.
G on the op too was crazy.
Yeah. His entry frags on defense, he's opening first bloods, contesting that A main space was impactful. I think the bigger question is their Lotus as strong as the result says it was? Because a lot of the talking points in that RA game was their money is shot, they're buying Judges, they're buying Spectres, they can't really afford the full rifle buys, and they're just getting away with how they like their reads of the game and where I think the fights are coming from. So yeah, we have map players coming through. You haven't seen that Abyss and Bind completely gone in Sunset. Aura's going to run it back on the Sunset, and AQ's going to pick the Ascent, and then we're going to close out on Lotus.
I mean, I said I was expecting Ascent and Lotus. I get my Ascent and Lotus. I was thinking the order a little bit is rough. I was thinking it'd be AQ picking Ascent, and I thought that Rare Atom would actually pick into the Lotus once again, but them floating it so they can get that Sunset pick, like that map that you've seen that they've played, it is very smart, because we have yet to see Sunset this tournament from the side of any questions as well, and we've seen that it may take them a certain number of times, a certain number of reps to get a map fully fleshed out, like Lotus, for example. 3 tries until they finally got that victory yesterday. So we'll see if they can get out the gate running. I do think it's a map that matches some of the roles we saw on Lotus very, very well. I can see them running a very similar kind of neon breach composition if they want to bring the breach out of the meta retirement for that map. But I mean, that's what we get up first. So when we get into agents, like, I'll be super, super excited to see. Yeah, like we mentioned, Danny says they all are multi-agent talents. They have a deep pool that they can pick from. So what depth do they decide to tread in?
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. I think Rare Atom picking Sunset is strange to me. Unless they've just had Sunset prepped. Yeah, maybe maybe we're looking from the wrong side, where Sunset's just been really high up in their priority list. And I'm talking maybe 3, 4 in terms of the best of 5 or best of 7 in their map pool. And they've just floated it because they knew that if teams take it, we can surprise them by not showing this in scrims. And they showed yesterday that they have an idea, so
I was looking back at it, and AQ banned it out, ALG banned it out in the second round of bans, right? So it has always been a float on the side of Rare Atom, and it's just the other team has decided not to play it. So getting ready to jump into things here, and we do get the Neon that I was expecting. It's actually going to be Simon on the Neon, which is kind of a throwback, like I mentioned, the Haven that these two teams previously had, and also having the Eugen Yoru. We actually get the full mirror composition, and I think this is going to be so exciting, getting to have these double duelist head-to-heads. I think Satoshi was, again, that kind of master of mischief yesterday that was able to set up these players for really, really big plays. And I'll be interested to see, I think, Danny as well back on the Cypher. They only played on, again, Haven, and they did play Deadlock in one of the variations of Lotus.
Yeah, I think we're in a meta where mirror comps are so strange. I looked at it, I'm like, whoa, how did we end up here? How are we playing mirrors, especially with such a deep agent pool? But it makes sense. I think double duel is very proficient. It's very proficient on Sunset. It's been historically really good in the meta. So seeing this double duelist doesn't surprise me. But all the pre-game aside, we're going into game 1, round 1. Everything that you've done up to this point, all the prep work, you have to show it on the stage now. And it looks like we're going to start with a pretty aggro A side into versus a mid default here.
Yep, I mean, AQ, you said it always correlate was the acronym you used, and there is no exception this round. Simon running them down, Eugen for the immediate trade. Not sure if that's quite the worthy, I would say, trade out when you're going to have a player retake, ideally towards its B site, unless Danny can hold on, but we'll have to see what Danny's able to find, and yeah, unfortunately with that kill, it is going to be a numbers disadvantage here on the retake.
Yeah, 3v4, it's pretty confident on the side of RA. A very like, explosive start there. He's gonna find the first one. Midlight's looking for 3 kills here, and G gonna get involved. 1-0. I think the round sort of fell apart. It wasn't as explosive as you'd like to see from Rare Atom, or as Rare Atom has shown they're capable of. Just a very calm, cool, composed round. Finding a lot of the value there, and yeah, that it's a bit whippy. It's a bit whippy from both sides at certain moments, but they're warming up into it. I think.
Yeah.
The nerves from yesterday have shaken off and people aren't as eager to start explosively because they have a more controlled approach on it. So
well, speaking of eager, 3 Phantom buy-up. That's a big difference. Yeah, that's a very different thing about how we saw and described DRG's buys yesterday, where they were opting for, you know, a pistol or 2, right, to then buy up in the 3rd round bonus. So we'll be looking towards Rare Atom to keep this really clean, and I mean, definitely on the B side where there aren't too many trips, because it is this kind of bonus, means that Danny really just has to give up the site, play full 5 retake, which I actually do prefer here. I asked for change-ups on these ecos out of any questions. I wanted to see coordination on the retake attempts, and unfortunately Z is just able to hold down the backside. The paranoia is perfectly timed, and well, yeah, GRQ is still making his way over. Danny decided to try and seek a quick one through the nets, and unfortunately it has caught everything. So GRQ just looking for some exit here, waiting to maybe punish some of the over-aggression, but I don't expect him to find very much.
Yeah, the shots go right. I think they weren't expecting it. It's one of the boons of dry contacting an eco with such a superior weaponry, that you actually end up in a situation where the defending team thinks it's just a standard flood, just a standard eco. They can pop that flash and kill multiple people, but they popped the flash, didn't expect 2 Phantoms and a Bulldog on the other side of it, and she just absolutely eats them alive. And flawless round for the side of RA.
No, that makes us basically not even a bonus at this point. It's like our first rifle round in the 3rd round in this head-to-head. You can see a little bit of a switch up here. Aggressive dart out of FS here. And Danny swung with the idea of fighting off of it as well, but again, it's this thorough clear out of the drone, the very forward gate crash, and once again, they feel like they have to respect it, especially because the trips were so heavy in market that they just went through top mid instead, and while yeah, they thought they had slipped an edit, it really spread them thinner, and so AQ starting to isolate these fights, backside, frontside, it does not matter. Danny and FFS make it look easy on the B side anchors, and they have sunk the ship of Rare Atom on that bonus attempt.
Yeah, completely dismantled that. A big moment there was FFS not only having enough time and composure to find that first kill, shoot the Yoru clone, readjust, and then shoot G as he was coming through. So the nerves are settling a bit. Like, it's very competent. This is what we didn't really see this version of FFS yesterday. He was very slow on the uptick, and now he's taking a bit more initiative on that anchor roll, making sure that he actually gets the value on site, and not letting his team do as much of the work. So definitely a better look from FFS. I think he has
already
almost half the kills that he had in half the game of Lotus yesterday. So yeah, definitely a more proactive look here. A big thing is this. I'm gonna call Chekhov's Cypher trip. This trip got someone killed yesterday in the Rare Atom game. the one in market where FFS is standing, because they're expecting the neon rush through. If any kind of long range riflery gets set up there, then it's actually very detrimental because we can just contact into market into B. And speaking of contact pays off. Yeah, Midnight finds FS. Backside, backside B. That's a bad kill. That's a bad death.
This is drawn the two players that took the mid space, so into B main, and that's caused a major vulnerability here towards this A site where, talking about contacting up once again, Radom was just walking up, right? Expecting maybe that aggression, that fight that normally comes out of AQ, but instead they've gotten pretty much free real estate here to set up housing. And now, I mean, yeah, it's going to be a 4-on-4 retake here, and you don't have any trips, but that's where Nono, again, this really strong player that can stand his own ground, can find these multi-kills come into full effect. And if he falls to Eugen here, look who's ready to maybe flash swing, and that's not even the future that we're going to be living in. It's just one after another getting pieced apart, and it's up to this duo in Simon and Danny to get the job done.
Yeah, Simon and Danny have a really tall task, but Danny's gonna make it easy. Finds the first one, shots fired, looking for the second. Spams go awry. Nono's finding the third kill for the round, and Danny's preoccupied with Garon back sight. Doesn't quite get the kill, can't quite close it out. And we spoke about it yesterday, about Simon and how his role impacts the team, because Simon, the eponymous world champion from the 2024 EDG roster, backed by Sunshine, has built this team around a really characteristic and personality-full style gameplay. However, when Simon is on the initiator, on the controller, or any role that's not the duelist, he can support a lot more through his gun and support via his util secondary. When you put him on the neon, he's forced to take a lot of those early engagements and sort of eliminate himself from a lot of those rounds. So, AQ gonna call a call time match here. It makes sense. You've literally exposed the entirety of your A sites and given them the entirety of A for one kill onto Midnight. Midnight is the only pressure onto B side, and we have to commit 4 resources technically, Garon included, or FFS included, just to flush out that cipher and give up the entirety of our A side, and we don't even take that many guns off the board. So
yeah,
definitely a good timeout. Yeah.
It's just a timeout, right, to remind them of, okay, what some of the protocols should be. Again, like you mentioned, they shouldn't be overcommitting when they see just a cipher. It's going to be a typical Beeler, even when there was, like, we saw 4 players deep into A main. I think good things we saw out of any questions is as soon as there is that kind of B side presence of more than one player, like a Sova drone, like a Yoroclone, etc., that's when we start getting that re-clear of A main, that re-clear of tiles, and that is something I do really like. And it's not in a dangerous way that AQ is doing it either, like they typically do. So that's looking really strong there. And once again, RA playing into that kind of win con that I mentioned they did on the last against this team that they're doing now, is just waiting with open arms to receive that pressure at times and handling it. Specifically, it's been Guran, right? Like from the pistol round, it was also in that post plant. And I just praised you guys for changing up the ecos, and now we're back to the always quarreling.
Yeah, the people brawling mid. No, he's gonna find the gun. Yeah, finds a gun here. Eugen finds one with the classic. That's an upgrade Phantom though. Eugen's been really potent with, especially on Chamber. I think that's one of the benefits of having him on Chamber. He can make a lot of gold with not a lot of resources. So upgrading to that Phantom. Eyes on Simon. He actually delegates to Simon of all people. Simon has the Phantom. He's going to be slightly more proactive, looking for a lot more fights. Playing that contact, doesn't have the second TP online, but does have a flash. Jiggling CT, showing a bit of shoulder, showing a bit of leg. Doesn't die, but gets some very valuable info here. As the hit develop, Midnight's going to find a kill into Simon. That's the Phantom dropped. Top mid Phantom has now been completely dropped and irretrievable. Is G going to find one? Eugen's going to find another one with the classic. 2 kills for Eugen on the board with 0 investment into it, and she's going to find 2. Spike going to be planted here. And Danny and FFS have a recently upgraded Phantom and 1 Sheriff to their name against 2 Phantoms and an Outlaw. How can they manage this? The high lows here. Very stalwart. As soon as they come through, doesn't find the first one on the first bullet, but the spray comes through. Satoshi and G clean it up. Rare Atom pulling away with this game. Definitely pulling away. I mean, very confident, very composed rounds from them.
Yeah, they deny the momentum of the timeout, which is really effective. And I mean, especially after this opening kill on a no-no, you expect them to feel pressure, right? To accelerate immediately into this A site, but they kind of caused some question marks, some confusion when there wasn't that immediate response, right? You saw, I think it was a Silva re-rotate back to the B site. You saw, again, Simon with that Hero Phantom not know where he should be. And then when the hit actually came through, there wasn't much resistance, and you just had to play the retake with the worst weaponry. And obviously the Cypher from main with that Outlaw did damage on the eco, kept things under wraps. So Now we're back to, again, I feel like where the main stake of the changes from the timeout come from. It's going to be with the rifles in hand. It's going to be Eugen with the operator as well, a solo B main anchor. I feel like we have a heavier top mid presence though. If you think about the first few rounds, I feel like they exploited that pretty heavily, right? Satoshi was able to get behind them through Boba, and now it feels like Rare Adam's leaned away from that mid B split mentality. They really like their A execs and their A follow throughs. They haven't really failed too explosively thus far.
Yeah, now we're setting up on this A elbow. I think a cool piece of tech here is that they're just juggling the space. You can see how aggressive they are to make sure they don't get like trapped onto site. So they're just fighting for this elbow space. Nobody's gonna find 2 kills here. And GRQ gonna find 1. Hunter's Fury's gonna tag him up. Not a lot of like full HP here, as Garon as well is going to fall to FFS. The most balanced retake we have this entire half, as it's a 3v3, but there's an op online. If Eugen can get on that line, then we have a slightly more stalwart retake here, but can't quite get on. Smokes off, deters him for a bit, and they have to flush all of this out. Yeah, you can't really let them into this, so Eugen's gonna have to try.
You have a lot of
dimensional drift here. Danny's gonna find the first kill, yeah? Never mind, slightly more viable. Eugen with the up, posted up, finds the first one. No, falls and surpasses to his, or succumbs to his sin for wounds. So she's gonna find 2 kills, looking for the third one.
Taps.
In a 1v2, taps, it's half. Taps again, it's still half. Jump spot, jiggle. Mind games here. She's gonna try and pull him into the net, and the trap is sprung. As FFS gets told to sit down, she closes out the round in a very competent fashion. But that was close. That was close. With the rifles and the weaponry, that should not be as close as it was. The operator doesn't like peeking into stuff, and somehow got all the space in the world, posted up, and just took heads.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked how they played. It was unfortunate that the paranoia, right, just didn't clip as many players as they wanted to. No, and just getting ahead of it and getting that 2-piece. But the flash clone combo and the double swing there out of backside got them that space. But she just plays that perfectly. Now, once again, reset to the eco. Once again, it's gonna be the proactivity from Simon. Backed up a little bit more this time by GRQ here, just trying to scale off the one-way. And this is where, once again, RA had that mentality, that mindset to just wait things out, wait to punish that style of aggression. And even here, right now they know, okay, Sova and Cypher both B-side. That's information. And they're also searching to punish some of these light shield players.
Yeah, that's a scary high. That's a scary high-low stack that she, like, rightfully so, doesn't commit to that. So we're seeing a lot of this B main fight, but it's a lot of push and pull. That's like, I think the theme of this game has just been that sort of dance, that neutral space dance that is happening across the map. Is Danny's gonna find a kill here. Neural theft gets popped. The first pulse goes through, the second pulse goes through, knows where the targets are, but can't land the shots. She's gonna find a kill onto Danny here. Simon, Eugen, and GRQ. Tall task in front of them, seeing if they can at least diminish some of the strength of this buy into the next round. He's gonna come through, and the outlaw rings true, and so does Garan. Both flanks have succumbed to their wounds. Eugen in a 1v2, upgrades to the Phantom, but it's not looking good. It's a 1v4. There's not much you can do here besides damage.
Oh, and I thought they were gonna set up 3 on site towards the market lines, but was given the 1v1 against Gura, unfortunately just doesn't follow through on it. And we're at it, making it look more dominant than the first time these two teams duked out. Again, it is a map that we mentioned that there's no reps on for any questions, and I think that's shining through here just a little bit. I mean, this is yet again where this B-split has succeeded with, you know, Satoshi is skipping through, just completely obliterating them and opening up a lot of this space because they have such that big focal point. Both Danny and FFS focusing towards B main, so that and the outlaw posted up has just caused immense damage, and as soon as they become away the counter towards the B site, they switch right back to the opposing side, where this time they were so fast that Simon didn't get a chance to challenge forward, and instead just holding his ground, finds the opening kill with a backup of the operator from Eugen. It's able to find a second. Now, Elbow under siege as well, but that's where the omen is, that's where the paranoia is. Stability found, the door slammed in the face of Rare Adam, and they now have numbers as they force the rotation.
Yeah, just have to re-ascertain stock here, but Simon with that kill is massive. I think, especially when you're fighting to that short area, if you don't get that kill, the entire A site is blown wide open, and he does a really good job at holding his space. And now it's just a game of just re-clearing everything as the defenders, and not giving them through, but he saw the hat. The RA with the spam finds FFS.
Wait a minute, the
shots
timing?
land, and these feel destined. A lot of these shots, just bullets that are finding heads where they have no business finding them. But Midnight's gonna take points. Looks for the first, finds Danny. Danny our point man, the NH collegiate prodigy. Can he do it? Can he find a way to salvage this round? Well, I can't find it. Gurn's gonna find a really crazy spam, and so does G. And now it's a 1v2. It was stable for a moment for any questions, and now a lot of things in doubt here. Gurn's is committed. Eugen's gonna jump all the way through, and G's gonna find a kill onto Eugen. They're so close. They're so close, but they can't get it across the line here.
Yeah, that was risky, the dimensional drift. It would have given the opportunity for the 1v1 in terms of how long it takes to exit, but because Eugen wasn't close enough up, it just ends up being the perfect bait and trade play. But speaking of timings here, there was two major missed moments, right? You had GRQ, who maybe for Bubba wouldn't be able to catch the market timing, find one there. And then Danny, if he had just waited, tucked in the corner ever so slightly longer, GRQ might have been able to take the stairs fight with him, and things could have gone very, very differently. But now, honestly, they're kind of on the off foot, taking double timeouts in the first half. I mean, big reminder, this is Rare Adam's map pick, and we did kind of hope that Ascent and Lotus would be the ones where we would see any questions flourish, you know, remedying their mistakes, playing into map strengths that were shown yesterday against DRG. But here, this is not what you want to be having when you're such a energy and momentum-centric team. I mean, just down even to the stage dynamics that we typically see between these two teams like we did in the group stage, and from players like Simon standing up on stage and moting, we haven't seen that today.
Yeah, he's sort of lacking the fire here, and I think a big thing we spoke about the timeouts. Rare Hatem hasn't had to call a single one, not at all. That means that the coach is at a point where he's so happy with the way that they're playing right now that there's no intervention needed. And that's scary for a side like RA, especially when they've historically beaten any questions. They're coming into this with a lot of confidence and actively executing on that level of confidence. And yeah, money's looking really healthy for one team and really unhealthy for another. But can they salvage a buy here? Can they salvage some kind of momentum here to stop this trade, or this is going to be a short map?
At this point, she is 15-1, by the way. Was an MVP on this map yesterday, right? But this is to a new level. I think we found his best map pretty undeniably. Now a major switch up here, right? They, out of that timeout, is reposition FFS over towards the A site to have Danny play a lot more detached from this B hold. It feels like, at least on this eco, they want to play into the retake off of Eugen's maybe dimensional drift, off of maybe Simon's overdrive, and there it is, already expended on the way in through market. They've got all this space, and it's gonna be a major brawl. Spike not even planted just yet as RA cut noise completely.
Yeah, but it's a 5v5 retake. Spike isn't even down, but then he's going to take initiative to find the first one to G. Gurren's going to trade out and the bodies and shots fired, but it falls in RA's favor here as Eugen and I'm GRQ. They've got a lot of work to do, but GRQ making it a lot more feasible, but Gurren puts him down, closes it out, 8-1. 7 rounds on the trot for the side of RA.
I saw the sparks of a Thrifty starting to catch, kind of like what we saw on Lotus when they all were playing that kind of 5-strong retake. The fast lane was really nice to isolate some of those early kills, but it's that mentality and that tendency from Murad, and they like to do this on maps like Haven as well, where they'll just cut noise, stop, wait for that kind of precursor retake without even planting, and that's where you'll see that second wave of utility like the Paranoia come through, just to refight that space and keep things under wraps and clean, to, like you mentioned, give them that 6th in a row, that 8th round where they're starting to run away even further with the half.
Yeah, and this game's pretty scary over here, and GRQ's realizing the nightmare that is she as well. Overdrive's going to be committed here, and Eugen has to dimensional drift. You just have to get out of here. There's an angry Neil on the map, and she's looking for heads. She's looking for scalps here. And AQ once again on the back foot. They're just struggling to find any kind of permanent hold of anything on the map right now. But Huntsville are going to start opening up. Gurren's going to find a kill onto FFS, yeah, and that's your initiator gone. How can you initiate this retake with no initiator util? All the angles locked up here. There's no way to break it. Is Simon gonna try and... I think they have double up here as well. They can't even get into the line. Levels of desperation here that they're trying to remedy with just money, but there's nothing. There's literally nothing they can do here besides salvage his guns. Simon looking to lose his, but finds Midnight instead. Takes a life, saves his gun.
Yeah, I don't know if double ops the solution to the problems they're having. That is for certain. Especially when they found, and at least the eco made it seem like retake was the key they were leaning into. So that'll help them in that regard. But 9-1 here. Yeah, we've talked about how AQ is very, very attack sided no matter the map. But this is starting to get to levels of you can't steer the ship to avoid the iceberg. I think they would need that 9-3 minimum here. So we'll see if they can win out these last 2 rounds. They will have a mostly full buy, you know, at the risk of some light shields, some regen shields. But these next 2 are really must wins. Or, yeah, like you mentioned, maybe on the fast track towards Ascent.
It's a big thing that you should see in the eco is Garand and G aren't buying that or aren't anting that much into this round. Obviously the op just got bought, but there's a bunch of people on the side of RA that's not fully buying up util because they know that they're willing to actually take the chance, and Danny does as well. But they're trying to take the chance here to solidify their lead. They're buying down to like 8,000 maybe. So then if they lose this round, they can full buy the rest of the half on some of their players. So it's hard when you're going into a team that's this drilled, and the side of Ray Atom on the back foot for once.
Yeah, that was a very that was one of the rare moments where it felt like they weren't ready for that kind of forward fighting tendency. And even Midnight Lurks usually had an accompaniment from Guran, who was just a little bit late there to get the refrag. So, like you mentioned, that's huge. And they're not making the same mistake over here towards A main, right? Or we thought they weren't. Drone, yeah, catches the Sova, but doesn't catch Yujin, who's able to start maiming that near perfect record of G on this map, out-ops him in that regard, and this round has gone from bad to worse on the side of Rare Adam. We said there were must-wins, and if you start to play like it, but again, this top-mid gap starting to get exploited, trap destroyed. No, a kill found, and even Boba positioning.
Their shots go right. They just find 2 kills, the opener and potentially the closer. Is GRQ going to assist in that hold? I think the big thing they changed up here, main fighting. They're not fighting for the sites anymore. They're taking the battles to main, knowing that RA is playing a very safe round, a very safe playstyle, because now they're aware of the double op, and Danny just capitalized it. This is a crazy anti, right? Having someone set up B main with you so you can actually scale up with the Cypher cam is really a really good effort from the side of from the side of AQ to actually anti that and at least get one round closer to that 9-3, but he has the Rare Atom timeout. It's a bit late in the half. What do you think they're talking about? Potentially next round, next half, or trying to salvage a 10-2 here?
I think they really want the 10-2. Like I mentioned, I think they understand how scary the Any Questions attack side is going to be and can be, especially with Simon at the helm on that primary entry duelist for the Neon. But aside from that, I completely agree. Last round, super clean there. Danny anchor, the GRQ anchor that we mentioned that goes head-to-head with Nono. I think there were also some slip-ups on the Rare Atom side after they, again, I think there's some reminders to be given here, like the early round contacts that we saw. Like, be aware, hey, Midnight, Danny will be pushing that possibly. Hey, be aware there's going to be an op really deep on the A line possibly, or even the B line if they switch things around. Aside from that, I think also maybe there's some resync in terms of team fighting, because I didn't like the no re-challenge in the Bobo, right? He had a really nice backside paranoia to set up the 2 market players, but then they didn't go at the same time, right? And I think that's where, again, you maybe would have drawn Danny's attention. Maybe Noda could have gotten behind them, Boba. There was a lot better ways to continue converting that late round. So just again, a resync, like I mentioned, try and finish out 10-2. Maybe even stop just the momentum from AQ that they're starting to establish here.
Yeah, it's pacey. It's very pacey as the From the Shadows is going to commit and force Simon all the way into CT and on an island Satoshi. What can you get done here? Simon slides in, finds one. But it's a market B split. Can Simon get relevance into this B split as well? Spots the Yoru, knows what's happening. Danny gets a kill onto Garand, drops the initiation. Cypher's Neural Theft pulses, finds the first one, second pulse is going to pop now, and GRQ finds one in between the pulses, and it's a 5v2 retake. RA in a really precarious situation. Midnight trying to make it less precarious, pull us away from the edge a bit. But the tags are going to go through. Danny, rare whiff. G finds a kill, takes off the dot. Looking to get out of here, but very aware of the potential that Simon's going to be here, but Simon gets the better of him.
Oh, they don't know about Midnight.
Yeah, they have no idea. They have no idea of Midnight. Midnight just slipped through the net. He's absolutely slipped through the net. He's going to actually just make his way all the way to A side. He has so much time. The puzzle's clicking, the cogs are turning. They're realizing that maybe Midnight's not where he needs to be. Where they suspect him to be, rather. This is doable.
If he gets
Very
one
doable.
kill, that'll be the neural theft corpse. You know, give me a corpse and maybe give me a clutch kind of mentality here. But AQ keeping tabs on everything Rare Adam did this round. Can they keep tabs on one more player? Midnight. They're taking the buddy system seriously here.
Oh, and Simon's gonna jump, finds the first one.
Oh,
Finds the first one is Midnight, but Eugen trades it out as very close round. That was actually really, really well done from the side of AQ to salvage that. I think it was a very difficult round to actually navigate, but they found kills in very important areas. Simon getting this kill onto Satoshi blew this round wide open, I think, and Danny just has to trade, just has to do his job, the job that he could do in the last 2 rounds to close this out, so.
yeah, and even in position, man, he kind of did what I asked for of just being that distraction factor, right? That bait. Simon tried to play off it, just wasn't able to finish the job, at least to keep Danny alive, but all in all, it did what it aimed to achieve. As Any Questions got what I said was a must-have 9-3 half, which is crazy to say they must have a 9-3, but when it was a 9-1 and it felt like anything else was inconceivable, I think this is the best they could do, and now they just have to do what they do best and knock the ball out of the park here on this attack half. Very, very little room for error here. Cannot lose this pistol in all ideality, and I mean, that's just where we've got to go. But what a first half. I mean, at one point we mentioned Raiji was 15-1, sporting the attack operator at times. We also saw Eugen, I think, come alive when he got an operator in hand towards the latter half of the first side of things. So that's going to be a big thing to keep an eye on here on the attack side as well. So a lot of strong moving pieces, including just Danny's ability to hold his own, that'll come in clutch as a Lyric player. So win cons to look forward to for AQ on the road to recovery and the comeback art, but Rare Adam playing it very similarly to how they played the first time they beat this team.
Yeah, I think the big thing I'm going to point out is we spoke or I alluded to that neutral like dance, that push and pull that we're seeing from a lot of people, and I think G in the early stages of this half did a really good job at winning that. You know, he took initiative on a lot of those neutral fights and took it away from them, took it away from the side of AQ, and they had to try and fumble to basically set their feet on the ground, but they're on the back foot the entire time. But AQ did really well towards unfortunately the last quarter of that half.
Look at all those 3Ks.
Was taking away that initiative from them. You know, Danny walking down B main, threatening Midnight in B main, setting up like a triple stack on towards A side. So we're going to see a lot of that this round, I think, because of the mirror nature of these comps. That dance in the neutrals. I'm talking B main, I'm talking A main. I'm not necessarily talking mid, but I am talking like top mid, that transition area into B, CT, and onto A side. So things to look out for. The start lands, I think, backside B, so they're trying to sell a B hit here.
And this is just a hard read and counter, it feels like, for Rare Adam, right? They're kind of expecting this B split. They hear the TP coming towards market. They've already destroyed the gate crash as well, so now that plan has left them high and dry, stuck over towards Tiles, having to take the fight, ideally against G, who also appears to be stuck pillar. You can see now going and trying to bail him out, but he doesn't need any help. He's taking Danny down. He's taking the first blood, and now he is back for this B hold, and you can see AQ starting to come up and execute a play on B here just to try to pick up this mid space that they lost control over, maybe and convert it into a top mid pop.
Yeah, potentially Satoshi has to do a lot of work here if he's trying to get any damage done, but finds the first one onto Eugen. GRQ managed to end the rampage almost immediately, but Garand, they're trapped in this really tight corner. There's not a real way out unless they just brawl and get out of this. So I'm gonna find one with the Frenzy, looks and finds two with the Frenzy on the first mag. No, finds one. Classic in hand. Spams, dances, and tries to get a bit more damage done, but FFS puts him down. But FFS and GRQ both really low midnight. In this 1v2 situation, 1v1, suddenly very favorable. 13-7, Ghost in hand. FFS 1 HP. One body shot is lethal, one headshot is lethal.
And he's leaning so far into the mentality that FFS is going to overswing, but no, he's tucked away, the safety of the box. Gonna not let Midnight get an ounce of information until that spike has been tapped, and I mean, at this point I would predict Recon coming online soon, but he's gonna take the silent approach, a slow swing, and it's still just Midnight playing to the beat of his own drum, his own tempo, and come up with a melody of a clutch. and waves the other team goodbye, knowing that that pistol is a near death sentence. And honestly, I liked the mid-round calling from AQ, despite the second guessing themselves there. The fights, I think, between Market were really clean off of, again, the tip of the spear from Simon with that frenzy. But then it's this moment right here. They break off from one another. They're both low HP. They know they are. So GRQ taking that early contact just hands over the 1v1 in advantage to Midnight. And now, yeah, when you're down 10-3, a Stinger Force is near certain. But we'll see if the round conversion success will follow.
Oh, full near sighted here. Not blind, but near sight. Simon's gonna find the first kill here. No and G gonna not only trade but punish that early aggression. The hubris and the desperation from AQ is immediately punished by the calm, cool confidence of RA. But the contact find the smoke. The flash pops in. GRQ finds 2 kills here. Garant, with a lot to do, Stinger in hand, finds 1, looking for the second, running out of bullets here, but can still do work. Midnight's going to help assist with the trade, and a lot of work to do for Yujin, and can't quite get off the ground there as Exemplary A-hold, a desperate force for the side of AQ, and not the outcome you want. Forced once again onto that eco, and you're running out of rounds, you're running out of mistakes. It was 5 mistakes at the beginning of this half, and it's whistled down to 1 or 2.
Yeah, really good attempt there. I think GRQ against the double Stinger after the Bulldogs just wallbang beautifully off of that insane recon that comes through, mind you. I mean, paper thin or 89 box, you know, a fast lane they can spray through. It was a recipe for disaster. And then it did come down to the wire there. You know, hats off to Uden for trying to navigate it, but the tag team nature there, great shocks as well, just putting the pressure on the situation. And speaking of pressure, like we mentioned, it is all on AQ's side once again. A map point for Rare Adam 1 away. They don't have the strongest bonus. They actually rebought into this quite heavily. We'll see. I mean, this is a great position from No, very unexpected. And now it's just a distraction factor as well, right? Midnight swings off of it. Guran swings off of it from top mid. And just like that, these players are dropping like flies, but round not over. Weapon possibly collected here, but the HP cost is so high.
And they can't really upgrade to the gun. Simon's can, but 1 HP on Simon, that's a body shot that kills FFS, and Simon, not long for this world. Yeah, not long for this world at all. He was already bleeding out, and that just, the death knell that rung, and 12-3, 12-1, I think? 12-3 on the half. It's getting pretty desperate. They have one more buy, though. A couple of chances to try and bring this through, and if you're the side of RA, you have one more chance, or you have at least 10. You have 10 chances to win this game.
No BOT.
If you're inside, yeah. And then you'll be OT. So you have almost 12 chances to win this game. You have to win 9 in a row if you're any questions. And yeah,
I mean, they're fortunate, right, to have that full buy here. Up against was kind of a half buy situation since they did buy up into the weapons, but Ari is so confident that they want to take the fight to AQ. They won it with the Bulldog Stingers, and they are starting to win it now. Fast lane, it does not matter. It is all on the Wonder Kid himself, Simon, who unfortunately will not get the job done. He follows the rest of his teams to the grave, and a down 1 map here in this best of 3 upper finals. Rare Adam win out their map pick, expose a vulnerability in the map pool of any questions, and at this rate it will have to be Ascent, the pick of any questions to bounce back on.
Yeah, Ascent is a very scary map to play into any questions on, but the form that RA is in, it seems like they have the book, they have the script, they know exactly what's going to come to them, when it's going to come to them, how it's going to come to them, and they're just fully dominant and in control of absolutely everything. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. That sunset was not one you want to look back on if you're the side of any questions. It felt like you couldn't be that personality-based gaming we were talking about in the beginning. You couldn't express any of that personality or showcase on the server. So she's running rampant, Midnight
so
running
impressive.
Rampant, and yeah, it's difficult. It's very, very hard to play this, but maybe there's always options. There's always gears to turn. You know, if you're an Any Questions fan, Danny is heating up. That's, I think, a big thing. Danny is heating up into this, and Danny has been exceptionally warm or exceptionally hot against DRG yesterday.
Yep.
So he knows he has the capacity to do it.
And it's so interesting that on this map, right? Obviously, it is the pick of Rare Adam that if you know you're an attack-sided team, why do they pick to choose on the start on the defense? I think this Sunset could have gone so differently if they chose to start out on the attack here. Maybe they're like, okay, it's map 1, we need that warm-up map, we need to get strong before we can, you know, just run it down. And I think, again, it would have gone very, very differently. But hey, next map is theirs, and they're starting on the attack for Ascent, where they had that really strong success yesterday up against Dragon Ranger Gaming. So excited to see how it goes, but for now, does mean we get to, watch through the rest of this insanity of really just the first half, because it ended so fast. And Rare Adam, let's take a listen to how they made it so streamlined.
下地方，站 CD 打，不用出去，他们有烟。来了2个，其实来2个，可以晃，有阵，帮我滑，跑过点就行，让王哥能偷的这儿，稳打，够了，阵，nice， 好枪，没小一个2个，拉3、2、1拉，大狙又大狙，没拆。 一发。
Yeah, G's our match MVP, and I don't think it goes without question. G showed up in a massive way. I think the capacity that he had this game vastly surpassed the capacity that the double duel on the other side had at all. So very competent. I think the big thing to look at was how good he is on that macro side. In a lot of the situations, you expect duelists to just be good on the actual initial gunfights, but this map, G had a lot of depth. From the early round to get the entries, into the mid round to get the plants, and then into the post plants. If he's alive, he'll just close it out for you. So 229 ACS is a big number, but I think his impact is even bigger than that number shows.
Oh, absolutely. And on a map like Ascent, where you're gonna have a solo Yoru, right, repositioned around mid arches, you know, positioned heavily over towards heaven, like we saw yesterday from DRG and Spirit C1, I think it's gonna be a really strong tool to have him online as we head into an Ascent defense for that side of things. But again, no question that he was an MVP. Or even, and that's the thing, he wasn't even the one that was just solo swinging everything. He would wait for his teammates to take that for a cleanse attack, give them the spotlight, and then he'd be the one to be like, okay, I'm gonna refrag them, or I'm gonna be the one that gets the kill off of their efforts. And that just shows how ingrained some of the systems and procedure where Adam are. It's not all kind of just willy-nilly, like on your own, like some of the success we've seen out of any questions can be at times from players like Simon, who's also that duelist, like Eugen, who's also that duelist role. But speaking of Eugen, excited to see him on, like we mentioned, that chamber on Ascent. Yep. I think the aura was okay, but I feel like he got shot down quite a bit by Rare Adam just breaking some of those TPs. So curious to see how it's gonna go otherwise.
9 plants, by the way. 9 plants, and so 10 post plants and 9, like a 90% success rate for Rare Atom is ridiculous. And you can see the underside, it's just 1. They only got to
that's because of the half.
Yeah, that's
there was only a few attempts for.
But it's complete and utter dominance for the side of Rare Atom, I think, and hopefully they carry that form into the next game. But if not, that's potentially a door wide open, because we've seen any questions Lotus. We'll see how they go for it, but we'll be back with you guys in a bit. We're going to take a bit of a break, and we'll come back for map 2 and more VCT Upper Finals Ascension action and gameplay. And welcome back everyone to map 2 of a pretty tightly contested, or not even tightly contested, a blowout game on map 1. It is RA versus Any Questions, and RA looks sharp, RA looks dangerous, and we're going to Ascent, and AQ kind of on the edge here. The streak, the reputation on a lot of these players is on the line, and on Ascent, do they pull away from the edge, make this 3-0 series or 3-map series, or do they fall off and RA secures their grand final slot?
Well, if map 1 was a weak point in the map pool for Any Questions, I feel like that could be said about this map for Rare Atom. Another map that they have not played this tournament, have not played recently, and we're getting a look at that composition that they think is going to get them to the grand finals with a 2-0. I'm looking towards, I mean, with Midnight and the performance he had, I feel like the Deadlock is going to do super well. You're usually engaging heavily off your utility, a lot more so than a Cypher. The Satoshi Vice, I'm interested to see. They play the Chamber on maps like Corrode, so there is some familiarity with the role, but otherwise, again, a little bit out of the comfort zone. Excited to see it.
And we're going to start with A main. Oh, that Deadlock nade finds, I think, 3 people almost instantaneously, and the jig is up, so I think a big thing to look at is, stylistically, Ascent used to be that double initiator comp. You want to bring that Killjoy plus the double initiator. We're seeing a lot of double Sentinel. What do you make of that?
I love it. I'm a Sentinel player, and I mean, I don't know how much longer it's gonna last with the new patch, so we'll have to wait and see for the time being. But oh no, I think for this map, it's perfect, and as well, I think it's great for RA to use that to shut down all these AQ aggressive plays, right? That Netley mentioned stopped 3 players, should have kind of given them an indication that this was going to be an A follow-through, but it's again this proactivity that I was going to say caught them off guard for the first blood, but Midnight once again is able to punish it, to get it right back for RA, but look at this, it's not going to be AQ stopping anytime soon. Eugen through Garden, and not alone either, because they have the backup of GRQ as well, who goes back for seconds, but again, RA answer back just one after another. They're always expecting AQ and always refragging them, this time for the final kill on the round and another pistol.
Yeah, we saw that round before. It was yesterday, Vakashi peeking at Heaven and just getting demolished by Eugen. So there was a chance that it actually doesn't turn out in the way that you wanted if you're the side of RA. But some good guns, some good shooting from Midnight to make this whole feasible, and some great trades across the board from the rest of support staff on the side of RA. But very prominent, very potent. I think Danny started this round with the first blood from Tree. So it's good to see Danny's actually coming back into this game, or at least starting this game off hot, starting with a bit more initiative here. But alright, getting the first round, trying to carry on that good streak of form that they had from the last map.
Oh, once again they kind of have this trap set up over towards A main. Nice paranoia, nice net, just trying to keep things on wrap, and as well bait them away from the fact that there is a judge here, but now that actually kind of scared them away from entirely fighting into A main. A B rotate where they have no Grouds. They didn't have any lurk player because they had worse weaponry. I'm curious to see how this Vice and Sova tag team is going to function, especially with Gohan almost droning out as well to get that early intel.
Yeah, and it seems like they're just fishing for orbs here. They're not really trying to play anything super quick here, as yeah, sizing up, we're sort of burning the clock here. The clock is just taking away from us a bit. Breaking all the Vice util, I guess they're trying to look for a better fight for them, but Eugen, as they spend more and more time not really committing to anything, you can see the health bars are whittling slowly just from spams alone. Eugen, not as healthy as he wanted to be going into the site to execute, and neither is Simon, who's now on that supporting role, that Omen, so he can actually find a lot of impact here. But that's going to pop. So he's going to spam through, looking for Dart. He's in a bit of a tight spot, released slowly by the pressure of how straight to the weaponry. She's going to find 1 kill through the smoke blind. Looks for a second through the smoke blind. And the anchor from Midnight, from Satoshi rather. I said Midnight because I expected a different Sentinel, and she is too strong. I never realized until I said it how weird it is to see that Satoshi of all people is on that Vice. You expect him to be so in the front line, in your face, and now he's just facing absolutely everything,
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little concerned if obviously they don't have the weapons this round, but if they're having issues getting onto sites, it is not going to be a fun time or map.
Oh, the coach is giving it.
Yeah, that is crazy. I think it's cool because the coaches are like on stage behind them too, instead of locked away in like the coaching dungeon like other regions. So cool to see. But this is where we want to see that answer from AQ. Weapons in hand. They've been slowing things down just a bit and handling a lot of the traps. Feel like that have been sprung by RA, for example, here as well. The head-to-head once again, alive and well between controllers. Side.
Yeah, I think the double sentinel is it's very toxic in the way that it makes the game very slow and very deliberate. Because you can't just rush. You lose maybe half of your playbook. For most teams and most setups, because you can't rush. You rush, you're going to hit a sentinel site regardless of where you are. You play too slowly, and the sentinels and the rest of the team clear out all that space. And you can see what's happening now. Like, they tried to rush, they couldn't quite get through it, and now they're just forced to play in this choke. Judge in hand. Can he adjudicate something dangerous? As Eugen with the jump spot finds one onto Danny. Finds one, and Danny gets another one.
Oh, here we go. A site. Pretty much under siege. Do you have a player tucked away still? Your main with a jiggle heaven as well. This is looking... Yeah, this is dangerous though for RA. I mean, 3v5 retake attempt here. Only 2 bulldogs in hand. And this is where, yeah, the double sentinel thrives too. Just getting set up on the site to counter. And there it is. This should be a done deal, and a flawless one at that with rifles in hand would be a perfect way to answer back.
Oh, but Gurant looking to play spoiler here absolutely ruins those ambitions for a flawless kill or flawless round here. DRG's gonna fall. Oh, Gurant finds another one with the sheriff in hand, but AQ finding some traction, finding some ground here. Not really being as blown out as they were the last round. Or the last map, and mid-split into A, something that they found a lot of prevalence with. That jump spot is nonsense. The fact that he gets the kill while full jumping, but Eugen and Ascent are preordained. It's written in the stars sometimes for this kid.
And we'll see what the counter looks like for RA to some of this mid-control, because, again, the mains are really strong. They're fighting forward. They're taking control over them. It's just this mid and tree space that's been lacking. But for the time being, AQ has gone back to the A side exploration. In the meantime, we do have this scale, this bait over towards B, right in to the waiting operator hands. Whew. That works out really well.
And look how mobile the op is, already in spawn, ready to receive that A hits as well. Ready to receive any mid-regression and that A side hit, but it's going to be an A through his tree. It's going to be another A split. Clone's gonna be popped, and Spam's gonna try and ring through, but he survives. Midnight actually makes it out alive, but not for long. Eugen finds the trade. Looking backside for a swing, finds 2 people. Eugen's mechanics are just out of this world, finding kills that ordinary no one else is doing it, but that's just might be the X factor that wins AQ this game. Spike's not down yet. Spike's belayed, but Spike's delayed here.
Ooh. Once again, these refights in the tree are so clean. It almost won them the pistol. It's now trying to lock them in on this round as well. Blade Storm's expended. Blade Storm's dropped. No kill found. And now the Odin spray is what can try to salvage this round, but a 1v3 is difficult. Now they're just going shopping. Save the op, save the Odin. No clue here. Now.
There's Eugen, yeah, Eugen with the flank.
Still are contemplating going for this, and yeah, that decision feels like it's pretty much been made for them. And now, I mean, they're not even gonna be able to get out with this weapon. They've been hunted down, and it is that player we spotted, Eugen, with a 3K. And finally, we get the any questions of old. 3 players up on their feet. Simon back to waving. This is what they need if they want to have this reverse sweep happen in the upper finals, and looking good so far.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot more confidence. I think the big thing you mentioned is those refights. That's a crazy shot. It's those refights into tree. They're fighting into tree, transitioning into that A hit, and then refighting into tree. So then when the defenders try to get into that space, they just get mulched. And I think Eugen has been a huge factor for their success. He's got 6 kills in 2 rounds. based exclusively off of that tree fight and those tree brawls. So, absolutely massive effort from the side of Eugen, and the side of RA calling a timeout. Yeah, it makes sense. You are on the defense side. You don't want to be hemorrhaging too many rounds. While you are favored in this game, it makes your attack side significantly harder. So, let's see what the adjustment is. Let's see how they come into this next round.
I think DRG had similar issues, just again adjusting to this mid-centric approach out of any questions. So that's kind of what I want to see, right? We've seen like the sensor in tree, right? But they haven't had anything positioned off of it, right? No paranoia trap play, nobody really reacting or trying to punish off it, and that's kind of what I want to see. Don't just give up that space. We haven't even really seen anybody even playing for Heaven or Garden control like deeper either, and that's just getting exploited time and time again. And I mean, at this point, yeah, I mean, it's an eco, so we're not going to see too much of those changes. We have the hero Satoshi Guardian. I know, 5-stack, Gamble stack towards A. We like Gamba. Let's see if it comes up in their favor.
No, but the read is incorrect. Yeah, the read is fully incorrect. It is just B noise. It is just B contact here, and they can't really tell. They can't really tell or investigate. How can they actually work this B main side? And it's just Danny showing presence, making a couple of noise, banging pots and pans outside of A main to keep the defenders all rooted while this replay happens on this B side of the map.
Ooh. Now they've just kind of sniffed this out. They're probably gonna walk onto this B side, especially when they don't see any vice suits. All right, no arc girls, no wall. little troll flash feudal there for the time being, but this is going to be a near impossible feat of a retake, right? Worst weapons, double sentinels setting up with trademarks and vice util aplenty. I'd say if it was a business be a jump off the map side of angle, but we'll see if they can find these extremity players. They decide to break off tiles, or maybe they can play some exits to keep the economy close.
Yeah, but it's a lot of work that you have to do here. You have to trip that vice wall, and IMGRQ is just waiting. Waiting, sort of licking his jowls, seeing if he can get anything done here. Wall gets tripped, Jet dashes through, but FFS finds 2 kills onto G, or he finds a kill onto G. There's a lot of people netted, there's a lot of people currently completely crouched here. Garan trying to find some value here as FFS gonna close out the round, and they're up. There it is, they're on their feet. We spoke about this in the previous game. How they were a bit quiet, a bit muted, but now they're actively going for it. They're a bit more confident on their own map pick, and it shows. They look comfortably. They look a lot more comfortable.
All right. Yeah, again, that round is what we were expecting much from. This next round, on the other hand, is where I want to see some of those adaptations around mid, around tree. And I think my difficulty here is look at all the ultimates on the side of any questions to put down that kind of adaptation. And there it is, the mid-centric approach. You're not getting away with the catwalk this time around. No fashion show. It's been cancelled. Go try yourself elsewhere, maybe in the next life. And they even have the deadlock that I asked for to fight off their own util and tree, but when you're bobbing and weaving around Hunter's Fury, there's dimensional drift in your face. You're lucky there was even a refrag from Nono to come in, and the rotation from G is good as well. They're going back for seconds too, plating perfectly off of Nono. This is the kind of forward and adaptation and reactivity we wanted to see around the A split.
It's what I'm noticing. A lot of this Ascension has just been, I'll just call it like the dry Sova ulti. Like they're just sending the Sova ulti sometimes, and they're finding a lot of value just based off like positioning and map states alone. The dimensional drift from Danny trying to get into tree is something reminiscent of what he did the previous game against DRG. Just dimensional drift into tree and then find a lot of value, but this time easily handled by the side of RA. And Satoshi, well aware of the mid possibility, having all their util on B. Single bullet, one tap, and another round on the board.
Okay. And now it's just, okay, you can't really do that every round, it feels like, because then it's going to get predictable. But I do like the operator mid. I want to keep that there for a round. Or maybe on the A line off the one-way could be clean as well. Aside from that, not sure what else we could attempt. It'll more be, I think, AQ that has to adjust away from mid. Or yeah, this works too, right? Have your Yoru also help to get your chamber in position, right? Whether it's a gate crash across to reverse the bros. And this is the perfect twist up for many questions. They're like, okay, push and pull. You guys change something, we'll change it back as well.
Yeah, making an adjustment, but I think in terms of efficacy, the adjustment from the side of RA is you can look at the Sova drone. Yeah, it's cleared up all of it. So DRG just walks all the way through, contests behind the Vice wall. If she finds this kill, doesn't find the kill, updraft dash and gets out of there. But was that even a leg? There was no damage. That was a pretty clean trade from GRQ, as it looks like it's gonna be a mid to B split. G pretty much on an island, isolated here, as that A development gonna be thwarted by the deadlock wall. The barrier mesh now holds strong in A link, dissuading any kind of action or proactivity from the side of AQ, but not dissuaded. They're going to wait out this wall, but they're going to run out of time if they don't get proactive. Noise be damned here. So setting up in catwalk. They're waiting at the wall. No, they're not waiting at the wall. Yeah, they're going to break it. They have to go. They're running out of time here. They don't have time to rotate either. And the blind's going to come through. Nono finds 2-3 people with the blind. Eugen gets out, but gets netted and rooted to the ground. And Midnight looking for one, doesn't get it. Danny gets the better of him, but Nono finds one. Satoshi finds two, looking for the third. And Nono, once again, in a massive pivotal moment, and Simon gets the better of the veteran. Stands tall, but Spike in tree. Has, from the shadows, can TP to claim. Door's gonna break, running out of time. All he needs to do is delay, but he sticks it. Now he has gun out in hand, but 1 HP. Can he get it done? Shock darts are lethal. Classic is lethal. Basically everything is lethal. Simon just needs to shoot first, shoot accurately, and shoot true.
I like the side smoke.
Does he have a read though? He's looking heaven, aware of the front sight. Aaron Bullet sends him to the Shadow Realm. Tap onto the spike. Sends one, a warning shot. Doesn't have enough health to continue the warning shots as Garang closes it out. Very close round from the side of AQ.
Yeah. I will agree with that, but I still think it feels like RA has cracked the code to the A hold. And that's what this is bubbling down to, right? Again, I think it really came down to making it close from AQ just because of I think it was whoever got the trade on the initial Cubby player, and obviously Simon as well here. I think also that is the shortest distant dimensional drift I have ever seen to recover the spike to give them a chance that round, but obviously the coaches aren't happy with that one either, even though they won out the round, right? Like I mentioned, a little bit close for comfort, but AQ is definitely the one's hurting right now. They want a solution to this A slate because that's what got them these first few rounds in the half, got them that confident spell that got them restanding, re-waving to their opposition. Aside from that, I mean, it's like, okay, well, what can they do? I'm surprised that they're not leaning into the B side a little bit more right now, because those hits weren't terrible either.
I think the big thing is they're getting bailed out by their mechanics a lot for both teams. RA that round got bailed out from, I think Nono got 3 people blinded and got 3 or 2.5 kills.
Satoshi Dice also got 2, I think.
Yeah,
from,
so they're getting bailed out a lot.
Arcos, yeah.
If you're AQ, how do you deal with this? You can't go through Link. You can't go through A tree because now they have a read on A tree. You can't go through A main because there's a sentinel on site that's going to just thwart your A main hit. You can't go B because you have to set up early B control, and there's a sentinel plus an op potentially on B. And they're going to opt for the B. They're going to opt for the B rush. The B rush. And G with the operator in hand and paranoia to back him up is looking ready to feast. But can they get the better of Eugen? Flashed off the angle. G dissuaded, looks into an omen smoke and can't get anything done here. Spam's going to go through and they're going to try and do chip damage in B main, but they're going to just flush them out of B main. I think they left Eugen. Yeah, Eugen's still posted up B main, holding that smoke, holding any B main aggression. Gonna find G, dashes out, and picture is made clearer, but the picture is relatively same contextually. Still 3 people on B, but the hits is going to be A side, so.
Yeah, they still have the deadlock though in tree, which has been the big issue and the big adaptation that I asked for, right? And now there's a wall going to make things worse. So I think they, yes, are going to show some presence, maybe send a clone, right, into tree, but I still think, in my mind, I was hoping for it to still be like a mid-B split, but Looks like it is going to be the full commitment because of how deep the two A main players are. But look at the double sentinel utility on this site, like you mentioned. If they get onto this site, it is going to be a miracle or a major mess up from the side of Rare Atom. They are ensuring that is not the case, right? We're even going to have the Steel Garden invested. We're going to have G posted back up on the line with the operator main. I do like AQ though. This is a rarity, right? Cutting noise, slowing things down, and re-engaging on it to the same site. But Rare Atom hasn't moved an inch.
Time. Right out of time, yeah, we have the one smoke.
Wait, I like this though, actually. This is tech. Oh, but it's been red, and now there's a flash. There's no time.
They're just gonna get mowed down, yeah. Just mowed down. Desperation seeping in a bit, yeah. Both are gonna go right. They have to go for the tap. They have to go for the plant, but they can't commit it because defense side is already on the site. There's nothing you can do. Yeah, he just needs to run away and beat by the clock. Beat by the clock was a thing in the beginning of the last series. The last time we saw this was map 1 of match 1 yesterday, so AQ being beaten up by the clock here is crazy.
A big salute everybody for a moment of silence for Midnight there. Sacrificing for the greater good, right? Diving in at the last feasible second when the Annihilation misses to get that right here. How does he get around the tour de force too? I feel like Eugene is gonna be like, I am so sorry, FFS. I'm sorry, my fearless leader. I wish I could have done better as your bodyguard, but
Just
again,
silence in the comms.
Yeah. And I mentioned I wanted to see the AQB side lean. We saw it attempted last round. We're seeing it tried again this time. A big difference, I think, this time around is that G isn't posted up with the operator here. It is just the shock dart spam. It is just the 4 vice util. And now that both shocks are out and you know the operator isn't here, we could see a better attempt at this B hit, this B split. And we'll see if that's where they lean in the mid space after it's been claimed this time around. And then G rotating from A main to Pizza. Have anything to do with it.
A lot of high APM just to get out of there, but I think recognizing how valuable his life is does she have the read? The pivots and the rotates are absolutely impeccable from RA here, by the way. The operator can't take that A long angle, so your Omen shifts to site, Deadlock shifts from mid and joins tree. Now your operator's posted up in mid, ready for to receive the B hit, or ready to receive any mid aggression, and it's a stalemate once again. You can't really contest anything because there's nothing to take. You can't rush because you're gonna get deadlock utiled. You can't go slow because you're gonna slow peek an op and it's just gonna eat you alive here. Oh, eyes on Midnight. Eyes on Midnight and Danny. Oh, who's gonna shoot first? Who's gonna spot it? Danny's in a really precarious situation. Midnight looking positive to find something. Danny gets spotted. And No finds 2, or No finds 1 as well, and that's a spike dropped in mid, 14 seconds on the clock. There's nothing you can do. Simon's gonna fall, trying to retrieve it, 10 seconds. You can't even get to site in 10 seconds. And Eugen, on the completely wrong side of the team. Once your ally, currently your enemy here is in the wrong spawn with Spike just way too far away, and yeah, they're giving it. The coaches are sending it across the stage as well, and they're confident. It's a completely different look from this RA side compared to the more humble tame side yesterday.
Yeah, this round I saw the vision, right? The idea was to device ult B, sell the fake, rotate into tree, but I think the Yoru, right? I think Danny was just a little too far ahead, right? When that dark cover fades, the entire ruse is up, and that refight to reclear Cubby tipped everything towards Rare Atom's favor, and now the half is about to go towards their favor as well, right? Literally half the players buying for the side of AQ here. A great chance to put this round away. They really haven't found a fix either. Okay. Silence again. They're so scared to peek into this op. They don't want to lose another first blood.
Yeah, do we count? How long do we reckon before G gets off this angle? Danny wants to peek. Danny's curious. Sniffs out something. G's not biting. Oh, G's thinking about it. He wants to move. The leg's falling asleep. Attention span is slipping. Shot goes awry, sees a shoulder, and shots fired, gives away where the position of the op is. A reverse Sabrosa suddenly reclaimed. And now G in a very precarious situation. Do you play tree, do you hold tree and hold that catwalk angle, or do you just give it up and play for something slightly more high value, but also slightly more risky?
I mean, you push the operator deeper into garden here, so I wouldn't say a fruitless effort just yet. Concerns that they relinquish that pressure and it's being read perfectly by Rare Atom, right? Sightline for Satoshi on a market, a reposition of the operator into market. And they are so prepared to receive this behold, and I honestly like the decision for Satoshi to back up a little bit, right? You and your util need to stay alive for the delay. Leave it to Guran, hopefully, to react off of it, to play shocks on the chokes. And once again, it's going to come down to the wire. 10 seconds left. It's all on Satoshi to deny this plan, to hold on the site. And it's all towards Danny, who will make this plan to go through for the team. A successful bodyguard duty accomplished, and the round is starting to fall into their favor alongside it.
Yeah, Simon with a really good relurk, and the paranoia sends it to spawn to dissuade it a bit, but it's very, very close margins here as the flood's going to come through. Midnight's going to find one, but FS is going to close this out. That was close. That was close. Satoshi almost did God's work. I think got 3 kills, almost got the 4th kill onto Danny, and 80 HP double body shot there, and that goes the other way entirely. Grant caught in a really bad spot here. That's pretty uncharacteristic from him, being caught out so far in the open there.
Yeah, they probably just had a misunderstanding of the timing of who was coming to the site and when. We thought he had another second or two, but yeah, I think because of the way they lost that, like you mentioned, because they got overwhelmed on that behold just a little bit, that's where once again a timeout will come through to try and cap off the half in their favor. A second one actually being utilized this half. Rare Adam not afraid to like get the idea through and entrust their team in the long run. Especially helps that you're up a map right in the series here. It's also the first time they've been on Ascent in a hot minute. Aside from that, I think they just. Again, they just want a strong first half, and they just trust in their team to win the pistol, win the follow, and get those few rounds through that they need.
How are they going to manage this, though? Because Rare Atom's pulling away, and Rare Atoms are, I think, really good in terms of building up those slow pays, and they have a lot more util to solve a lot of the problems come defensive side, unless Eugen gets an op. They actually... Do they have flashes? No, they don't have flashes. So actually, this is... As the rounds go on and the more rounds AQ get, things get a lot more precarious for RA. They don't have, Eugen loves to op, and they don't have anything to get Eugen off of that op. There's no real tools in their bag like the dimensional drift. So looking forward to next half. RA really needs the next couple of rounds here. Gonna get scouted off the angle. Spots it and flashed off. The next one is Gurin in a 1v1 against Danny backside. Full blind, full committed, and Danny finds the better of Goran, but Satoshi trades it out immediately, and G finds one as well on the entry. Simon falls, or Simon fells G. Satoshi once again. A lot to do, not a lot of space to do it.
Wait a minute. Oh, I think you've been spotted there, yeah.
Yeah, drone spots, and the tag is crazy, and you can't get it out of there. That's ridiculous. GRQ. Finding Satoshi, and once again, Midnight having to swing out the smoke. Simon finding another one, but no.
TP for the trade.
Doable. It's very doable. No smokes in hand, and you have to dry peek basically everything. But you emerge from the breach, find the first one, looking for the second, and he finds it against all odds. No. Sits down GRQ.
Sit back down. When I saw oh my gosh, I think they're laughing at their coaches at this point for that one. They overfought that. I'm not gonna lie, they gave that to No after a beautiful opener, right? I love the Hunter series dimensional drift to take out Guran, and then even the bonus of utility to clear out Satoshi. They took no risks until the last possible moments, and yeah, No, you deserve that one. And
we spoke about it in the beginning.
Yeah.
We spoke about it in the beginning. Nono versus GRQ are going to be the factors, and Nono stepping up and showing it in spades here.
That's going to set them up for a really strong conclusion to the half as well. Yeah, there's a buy for AQ, but look at the ult differential here. They used a lot of those big ticket ults to try and get that round to prevent RA from having a lead guaranteed at the half, and now they have a strong contention for an 8-4 here. Operator, once again, arches. We've seen the counters established pretty well, I'd say, from RA. But now, Blade Storm's out. No peek just yet, but good info that they hadn't fully scaled up Cat either. So, a little bit of lean away from then the A-split potential, but unfortunately, I think the negative space information has led them astray because Spike was leaning into this tree position, but oh no, they're second guessing themselves again, and they might be going towards the stack.
Yeah, it looks like a B-split. Gearing up for a B-split. G is actually looking to remove the Sentinel from the map. Finds I am GRQ, finds Danny as well, the turn, the flick, he right clicks, doesn't quite get it onto Simon. G falls, but Midnight trades it immediately. FFS claims Midnight. Suspect Eugen claimed as well. Annihilation claims another victim, and FFS, valiant effort, but falls, giving an 8-4 half to the side of RA. What mechanics from G, no? Whips the off shot, lands the knife, turns around, lands the knife.
Yeah, that was insane right here. And then the wall comes up a second later as well, so he goes A main instead. And this I loved as well from Guru, and he's like, break the cocoon, I dare you, I'll finish off your teammate myself. And Travis FFS abandon all hope and just play his own game, and fortunately just does not go his way. It felt like that half, yeah, AQ was like fighting a losing battle, right? They were just kind of like putting a band-aid over a wound that needed stitches, right? They found the temporary fixes. They were trying to ride out the success they were finding in the B side because they couldn't find a solution in these round-around adaptations for the A side of the map. So, yeah, we're to get a few more rounds on the half, but it's still an 8-4 at the end of the day. And we have mentioned how this team, this comp specifically, is so attack-sided. I mean, even yesterday, right, in their matchup against DRG on this map, they were the ones up 8-4, by the way, I believe, on their attack half. And then guess what? It went to OT once they were on the defense. So what does it spell now when they don't have that 8-4 success on the attack, Rigger?
I don't know. I think, like I said, they don't have the flash. I think that's the big thing. Eugen's a massive operator enthusiast. And they don't really have flashes to clear anything off the angles, but if they just give rounds like this, like that that two-piece from No, then Eugen and the op can only do so much. He only has 5 bullets in the clip and 15 in reserve. But if he misses any of those and falls with no like actual initial investments, then things are going to look pretty precarious. I think right now you need to find a way. You need to find an easy recipe to get at least the first couple of rounds going. And I'm thinking we're going to see a lot of Danny stepping up, trying to do absolutely anything here. I don't know. If I'm lost if I'm AQ besides just win your gunfights, put yourself in a good spot to be traded. And for the side of RA, things are just clicking. Things are just absolutely clicking. Like that last round, the highlight was G getting the 3K, but the big thing is there's an annihilation right behind him. You can't beat that when there's so many different layers to the way you're being assaulted from. So,
well, much like last map, you look at an 8-4 like, okay, guys, win the pistol. Maybe it'll give yourself a shot. So that's the first. We asked, what do you do? Win the pistol first. And this is just immediate, right? Deadlock. Annette realizes, hey, there's a pretty hefty stack towards A main. Let's lead the opposite way. Little B split action in the making here. I like the updraft contact fight, exposes FFS's angle on stairs, guides the paranoia in, and now it's just you gotta hunker down and wait for the oncoming storm. They've concealed Eugen for the time being, and will they re-clear? Yeah, this is RA we're talking about.
Yeah, there's so many contingencies. This feels like a different team to yesterday, no? There's so many where it was RA was just playing a very standard game. That was a very satisfying noise. RA is playing a very standard game yesterday. This one, there's so many layers and contingencies here. No, jiggling, looking for someone, but not peeking, not giving them anything for free. G recognizing 1 HP, playing contact for themselves. Skuran, not fighting for the death, but just fighting to play damage. Challenging anybody who steps too far ahead of it. And Danny's gonna find one, Simon's gonna find one.
Here's Simon.
But it's how big of an impact can you make? And Satoshi's gonna get 2 kills. Like they just got run over backside. They're getting run over mid. But like I said, RA is playing this masterfully. They've been playing the last series impeccably. Basically faultless Valorant.
Yeah, I mean, you asked for stronger team fights, stronger trades, and it felt like RA gave that to you, right? Like, this is a great attempt, I think, at the B main fight between GRQ and Danny, but then when it came to actual side fights, because they were on opposite sides, because they were running out of time, didn't have that opportunity to resync, and 9-4, it's not the same as a 10-3, but it hurts just as bad. No Stinger Force this time around, though, for AQ. Gonna ride it out here with a little wine, a little cheeky position from the Yoru, but with, recon bolt, you've got to get out of there. So reposition around, appears to be held around Dice. Drone comes in. A flank brew from the chamber here. Could switch things up for the time being, though. It is going to be a pretty solidified A site hold.
And it was like, the flood into Gen is massive, so Toshi's gonna find one, but FFS falls before he can actually get anything going. But maybe Midnight looks the other way. The Spider Sense is tingling, the hair on the back of the neck, and Eugen finds one. Spider Sense didn't add competency in that instance. Eugen gets the better.
What voice line is that?
I don't know, but
is that the TP out of range?
Yeah.
I think that's the only one I could see you spamming.
I think he wanted to TP.
I think he wanted to TP, but his TP was
crazy,
I think that TP was left over towards Market. I'm not gonna lie to you, Eugen.
Do you know what? I don't think you'd spam that at TP.
I don't think they buffed Chamber that much yet, where he can TP wherever he wants. Or maybe it could have been an ult, maybe blind too. I don't know. We'll
yeah, maybe
get our team on it, but
or trip, or like he's trip the trademark. Could be anything, but the frustration leaking in through.
It was a TP. Thank you.
Yeah. So frustration leaking through there. Frustration leaking through in space. Well.
He loses. I'm too far in French, or like in a French accent. But okay.
Yeah,
once again, double digits.
I think that's emblematic of the frustrations, though. No, he's asking for his TP and he can't do anything.
To win. Oh, and again, it just feels like when AQ is in this tough situation, their immediate answer is go fight, go look for a fight. Right? It was Eugen last round. Now it's Simon in the same exact walk down position. The only silver lining with plays like this is they get so much information, right? And because they got those openers, this time they at least have numbers, right? So Simon, as long as, yep, you stay alive, now confirmation that Spike is there, you know, that Midnight is there. And Simon is just doing all the heavy lifting this round. One off from a 4K here. Spike's down, then they get the perfect timing on to Midnight. There we go. He's like, why are you gonna let me get away with that? Alright, hey, it's 10-5. You got a little further to go, but that's a great way to get the mental right.
No, you're finding that they're actually getting a lot of success from that previous form that they had yesterday as well. Versus DRG. That walk-up is a tale as old as time from Simon, from Eugen, from Danny as well, so just not prepared for that contingency, and Simon feasts. Simon eats them alive there.
Okay. A little bit of an aggro fight looks like from AQ around this flash with the rendezvous set up for Eugen. Fully netted, baits it for Danny, and then takes the TP away. It's unfortunate it's a 1-for-1 trade, but an interesting follow-up off the paranoia there from Simon will hand numbers right back into Any Questions' favor. In the meantime, there was some work over towards B to get this orb. They fall back to disengage. It might have made a missed call for FFS to rotate away, so now see what GRQ does on the anchor angle.
They're trying to get into this, but a bit stunted, a bit stalled here.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're running out of time. We're running out of time to actually get that first blood, that, you know, that go button. There's no real value here, and the longer they take, Eugen just scales through, Simon just scales through, and now
Dart's back up.
Yeah, the more it's closing, the more it's developing teeth, the longer you stay here.
They have time to rotate, though. My big concern is, yeah, look at Simon here. A really good position. He's gonna catch all these players off tiles, and they peek before the Arc Rose is deployed as well. So now you know they're rotating. It's just a mad dash for the A side. Who can make it first? 20 seconds to go. They thought they were being followed B main, and now as a result, it's gonna be even more down to the wire. We'll see the spray around Jenny can connect, if they can challenge diving in, or they're just gonna respect the plant, play the numbers advantage that they have, and feels like it is the former where Guren gets off. It would be a miracle to get this round through in the nick of time, and fortunately they are starting to run out of those. 10-6 now.
Yeah, this is getting away from you. This is one of the situations where the RA coach has called timeouts for less, you know?
This will round left.
Yeah, they have no more timeouts, and it's very difficult to be losing rounds like this. You're losing to someone creeping up on your deadlock, not having that the sound sensor as just some kind of contingency of that A walk up when you're expecting the nade, and yeah, you give and you should be ready to receive as well. RA does have a timeout. They both have one each, so AQ, I think gambling like, hey, how many rounds are you willing to lose before you stop us is actually a really good strategy from the coach. And RA just hoping, the coach for RA just hoping things get fixed, hoping the team can get everything together. So how do they develop this? They started with the B, which has not been the most fruitful for them.
Okay. RA. A little bit more of a mid-centric approach this time around. Eugen, I feel like every single round has just been where the action is happening. This round, no exception. Big outlaw shot leaves Guren at 10 HP here. Still trying to fight through. They've gotten past trademark somehow. G in an interesting position. Paranoid comes through to try and reinforce pizza. They don't let anybody slip from the net, but in the meantime, while they were so focused on the Jets, they did take the fast pass here over towards the A site, where Simon once again is able to find a proper timing, find a possibly round-defining move here off of Danny as well. Main going unchecked, unhandled, and it's the reinforcements from heaven. Aerial support to arrive, and there's now 3 rounds separating these two teams. Dangerous territory here, Bigger, with that timeout already invested. Now I would be starting to regret it if I was the coaching staff taking that 6-4 timeout.
Yeah, it's you know, you try to preempt or have a premonition of what is going to happen in the future, and unfortunately what you're seeing now is the exact same play pattern. This is the 3rd round in a row, I think, where we start B, get shut down B, go through mid, lose a body mid, go A, and then just get flooded on. FFS literally just going for aerial assassinations here. Yeah, Eugen, that op is now online, in fact, like in action now on the server as well. Trying to hide GRQ there, but doesn't quite get it, and the Rose Garden going to be committed. It's getting a lot of damage down here. The Floods comes through, but it's not as effective as you'd want it to be, and suddenly it's a 3v2, but Danny going to equalize things. Spike's going to go down, 45-second extension on the round. It's relatively full util. Yeah, but the base will drift this.
I mean, that'll be 11. That'll be a big ult round for them on top of the bye. It might be a little constrained, but I think that's exactly why, even with low HP on Danny, they invest this dimensional drift. Kind of gutsy to come out of it so close proximity to these two players, but now they've been contained even further by the paranoia, pushed deeper and deeper into the same corner. And the spray is starting to slice away at this site until only position Guren in remains. A crunch up the shorty is good, and just like that, it is another round for the side of any questions.
It's getting close. I think you've lost how many rounds? Like the only thing I can say is RA has called timeouts for less. You know, RA has called timeouts for less, and AQ is capitalizing on that. You know, like the margin for mistakes that the RA coach is letting happen right now from his team.
Well, he can't do anything.
Capitalizing it.
He can't do anything about it.
Like he can do nothing. He just has to sit and watch his team make these mistakes over and over again. A lot of them are just developing once again from this B start. I honestly think like we need to be switching up something, at least to start, if we're losing the rounds and starting the exact same.
I think they just want to get this through, and I think this round in particular, it's because they have blades, it's because they have annihilation, and they understand that they're going for such a direct sight hit. It's been more of like mid and B start. This time it's just 5 death balls, see if it sticks, and unfortunately it's gonna stick in one way. Annihilation, yeah, grab somebody, but FFS and GRQ are able to make it work. Hunter's Fury comes in, a kill from Stairs comes in, and just like that, they are still holding on to the numbers here. They're still holding on to this B site positioning, buying just long enough to set up for a reflood off of AQ once GRQ finally falls, if he even falls.
Yeah, GRQ anchoring backside is gonna fall, so she's gonna get a hold onto it. 3v3. 3v2. Serval's been committed. Midnight's gonna try and nade, but boy, 11 HP. Yeah, Midnight's in a really precarious situation. Simon has been lights out here, and can Simon once again show up? Cooking the kitchen, knows the ingredients, knows all the pieces that are on the plate. Eugen's gonna find the one, Simon's gonna find one, Eugen finds the second, and we had everything. They had everything for the side of Rare Atom, and just picked apart with clinical precision here. I think the big turning point has been Simon. We mentioned in the previous map, Simon on anything besides Duelist is ridiculous out of how effective he is. He can take on that small supporting role and then let people play just for their guns. Because he can shoot. He can shoot with the best of them. Argue he is one of the better ones, yeah.
And this round, honestly, I think, do you remember on Sunset where like they have like a minute left, they have the site and they just cut noise and hold the positions on the site, or they fight to reclaim space on the site before the spike goes down? I feel like that's exactly what happened, and this time AQ was prepared to handle that. And so that kind of tendency from where Adam gets flipped up against them, and when you're already down low HP, then even if it is a numbers disadvantage situation, that's where players like Eugen, players like Simon thrive and are able to, like you mentioned, piece it out and get that round. So that's all the old's gone. That's the economy is shattered. And that is AQ now 1 round, a likely round away from tying things up 10-10.
Yeah, a thing to look at. Simon is 22-12-10.
Whew.
From defense alone. I think he was negative come the turn of half, and he's just been... I don't think he's died. I'm fairly certain I can wager that if he's died, it's been once or twice. And if you have that kind of constant, on top of Eugen warming up into the game, getting that up online and just not losing it.
Oh, and it's still just be death balls. You have a little bit of a deadlock lurk outside of mid over towards reverse the roads to catch off the rotates. Again, maybe try to weaken the pressure of that reflood that we saw set up from AQ, but the timings aren't there, the players aren't there, because they are already fighting back into this B site. Simon.
Uncharacteristic whiff there.
Yeah. It doesn't hurt him, it just keeps the rest of the players alive, can set up around this plant. I'm waiting to see what timing Midnight opts to take here, and it's going to come in a little too late since there isn't a weapon in hand. Speaking of weapon in hand, Panel just got handed off to Satoshi, who has the line on lane where these two players are.
Yeah, looking to get activated. That scan off the flash is enough to give context. Midnight's gonna find one as well. Danny's gonna fall. Simon all alone.
Has to survive. Or does get
the kill? It just gets the kill. Yeah, that works as well as, I guess, attrition. The B, you keep going B, you keep smashing your head into the wall, and eventually something will give.
That was a 50 round. That's a round they should not have won. Like, that literally just, like, fixes all of the mistakes of the previous 5 rounds that were tied together by any questions, right? Like now you just need one more to guarantee your OT, and that would likely be, right, the next ult cycle that comes online before the full comeback comes to fruition for any questions. So that literally puts them in a great spot, right? And one more round, I'd say, and you're close to breaking money as well for AQ, which would kind of solidify this map, this series, your grand finalist spot. So slowing things down once again. And you mentioned you didn't like the B death balls, you didn't like the B starts. Well, here's an A1 for you, except obviously your second Senti needs a blurk. That's just a cent. 101.
But it's better. I think I prefer this one. I definitely prefer this look. Because now you've shown, I guess, it's a payoff for actually succeeding on the B hit. Because now you've shown you can take B. And then there is ways that we can, like, punch through your B defense, even with the double Senti. Now we just need to reassess and figure out, hey, do we want to commit to A? Do we want to work that A side? And this is one of those rare cases where they're walking into effectively the stack. I think the Yori TP ready to move the minute that contact happens, and
the Yori TP is in garden now.
Eyes on the total force as well.
This was interesting because AQ fought for a main space, conditioned them that they got the main space back off that sensor, and set up to play retake off of the Steel Garden. Now that they've rotated to this B site, they're challenging number 1 the Tour de Force, and number 2 this Venn diagram of Steel Gardens where both are having pistols in hand, and G says, I'm proficient with the classic. It is my classic, and now they've gotten the site, they've gotten the deadlock setup that the double Senti likes to offer, and this now feels like a really hard round for AQ to get back into. And now go around just challenging for winning. They are just taking these fights with the numbers that they have. And this is feeling like a 12th Bruin.
Yeah, it's insurmountable odds. I guess they're recovering well, but I think AQ lost that spark. I think they lost it. Yeah, you have to. Like, there's that spark, that fire that was shining so brightly in the beginning is it's sort of unraveling, you know? So one of the side effects of your support players being so proficient, one of the side effects of Simon having so many kills, is that sometimes the people who need to be getting the big kills, like your site anchor, your sentinels, don't warm up into the game. They don't have their fingers on the pulse there, and the last couple of rounds have been that situation.
go. We got some camera play there. You can just
Fast is
tell.
crazy. Best gun in the game. Yeah,
That
this is...
was insane from G for sure. And I like how they fixed some of the issues, right? Where they were over fighting there just a little bit. And look at this. Finally, the Rare Atom coach gets to talk with his team because Any Questions has taken their time out here as well. I mean, it's last chance you probably have to talk with your team. It's going to be a half-buy situation, right? 3 probably screwed in the bottom of the barrels. You have the few weapons that were saved or salvaged, right? As you look to salvage this map, salvage the series. Obviously, they'll still have a chance there in the lower finals, which I believe is the best of 5. And that's where, again, I think today's series, right, in fleshing out their map pool, is still a strong takeaway, right? I feel like, again, this is a team that thrives off of reps, right? Like, I think their Sunset's going to be stronger than what we saw today if it gets picked up for that lower finals, assuming they don't win this next round. And I think that's just again, strong takeaways here, but thing is not to worry about for the time being. It's AQ. How can you get back into this? Trying to think about what RA has changed up, because it feels like the B death balls, they've just been like, okay, hey guys, they'll stick eventually. We have enough rounds on them to make it work.
Are they gonna go for it again? No, like, this is good conditioning, I think. But the ops online, are we gonna see GV Eugen combat conflict?
Yeah, we are. This was last round how they set up the default as well. I thought maybe the Vice could be in front of it, but here we go. Let's just moment of silence for this. You're not gonna peek it? Come on, Eugen. Do it. You want the info.
Waiting. I'm hunting rabbits.
Do it. Nobody on your other team is moving. Oh no.
Everyone's waiting for this moment. Everyone's waiting to see what the heck is going to happen in this B main fights. And
the Rose didn't detect either because of how deep on the line they are. So now the Vice, I was going to say, if they scaled, would have been dangerous. And I liked that play there as well. If you notice, there was a judge. The idea is you rendezvous out and you're like, okay, the op's not there anymore, so we're going to fight into the judge. And that's not going to go well either. But the fact that they've leaned away from this puts a lot of pressure on Danny and Simon. Like mentioned, Simon has delivered. Danny has delivered in some of the retake scenarios. Can he full stop anchor tree? Remember, for Rare Atom, this took an entire deadlock kit to keep under wraps.
Yeah, and you see the timing of that A main reclear, or the A tree reclear, and the B one at the exact same time is overwhelmed. Uh-oh, it's overwhelmed.
No
this
way.
is very precarious. Danny, are you the man for the moment? Are you a big player in a big moment? Satoshi's gonna find the trade onto Z. Simon gonna spot Omen. Nona's gonna drop immediately, but Simon's still very stalwart in A main. FF's gonna find the kill onto Midnight. Time is ticking low. Goran's gonna go for the plant here. Actually can't get the plant. It's unsafe. Running out of time. No time anymore. There's literally no time on the clock, and beat by the clock once again. Beat by the clock once again. How many times are we gonna play this super slow gameplay? And this is, I think, one of the ramifications of this double sentinel. You have to play slow. You don't have anything to do. You just have to win your gunfights.
I need to see the timer on this replay because, I mean, they were basically on the A side with 25 seconds left, right? It was just this refight that came through. If anything, it's again that mentality for Rad and wants to take this side. They like to wait to plant. And that did not go their way. I really like the Heaven fight, but again, Danny gets his. Simon from main has enough chaos to buy time for those rotations from B. Really, really good round there. Out of any questions. And now a little bit different of a default, I'll say, from Rare Atom, just so in the form that the Sova starting B side, I think they wanted more intel on what could be lying B main instead of the okay, we're waiting for them to overpeak, for them to overplay their hand and make a mistake, because right now AQ isn't making those styles of mistakes, but this could be one. Look at this off angle. I'll be more impressed if Eugen gets this, and he just gives him the time of day. No, I can't wait for the Eugen replay angle, but it's not over just yet. They go tree here.
He shot first as well. I think Nona shot first.
He definitely did. But this was a nice, I was going to say, paranoia trap play over towards tree. RA fortunate enough to have avoided it. And it just feels like there's a magnetic draw to the B site for Rare Atom, right? I do think this is where they've had their best success, but it's also because they've had their most attempts here on Ascent right now. So We'll see if it's what can get them across the finish line this time around. From the shadows, the boathouse reinforces the site, and that's enough for them to just dip away. To go challenge Danny and Tree, to re-challenge the tour de force of Eugen. Once again, with sub 30 seconds left though, Rigger.
Yeah, with no smokes either to help with this cross, but Gren's gonna find Danny. Midnight's gonna get a immediate, like, expedited route into CT. But the side anchors are both here, posted one with the operator. She's gonna find one. Still have the side anchor hull. Spike's gonna be committed here. It's 3v2 here to 2v2 almost immediately. G with that X Factor and that op in hand, looking to equalize things. Gonna spot absolutely every single member. Satoshi gonna contribute to the fight. Eugen with sheriff shots in hand, operator in hand as well. He has about 6 bullets left in the headhunter. Can he get something done? But they're willing to just wait as well. Be super patient. It's Satoshi. Patient wins out. Eugen falls, and RA, your first grand finalist crowned. Going through a different look from RA today. Very different from yesterday, and they're looking a lot scarier. Dare I say, thwarting the tournament favorites in AQ. AQ thwarted DRG in the lowers, sent them to lowers, and now RA unbeaten, winning both the rematches here.
Wow, and I mean, this means back-to-back ascensions for Rare Atom as an organization, back-to-back Ascension Grand Finals for Midnight specifically, the current IGL of this squad. But like we said, for the team now walking down to give their bows any questions, they still have their own questions to answer in the lower finals up against the winner of our second best of 3 of the day, Octagonal Disposition Gaming versus Tournament favorites Dragon Ranger Gaming, which would be a rematch best of 5. But all in all, again, I think it didn't feel like we saw the any gaming we saw yesterday against a VCT franchising team, right? And it feels like they didn't really improve on some of the mistakes. Other than that, they didn't overfight as much today in terms of the last best of 3 that they had up against Rare Atom in that group stage. So definitely the more well-rounded team. They definitely got pushed though on this map, right? After Nate 4 half. And thank you for that replay. I wanted to see it, but that is also not how I thought the angle went. That's a crazy angle, but all they toughed it out. They played it just in the nick of time to get this before the comeback came true.
Yeah, I think I wish I could say it's a tale of two halves, but RA was just in control of the series from beginning to end. I don't think, besides the latter half of this half here, where their decision making I think was just faltered and they were just relying on instincts and familiarity, they were fully in control from everything from fundamentals to the trades to their set pieces and just that X factor in those clutches from their individual players stepping up. I think G on his back, like a pack mule, carried them up the mountain across the line, and well-deserved rest and very confident going into the next series. But Simon, I think, chip on his shoulder here, has a chip on his shoulder this entire Ascension. He's shown why he's regarded as one of the better ones, I think. One of the better players in Ascension, one of the better players arguably in the entire CN region. So
yeah, proving why like even amidst the losses, he's always top fragging, right, for his team.
Yeah.
I think that was a consistency in the group stage as well when they did have those losses, or that series loss and those map losses. So we'll see if that strength can help propel them in that win in the lowers. But for now, again, a really strong showing, I'd say, from both teams on Ascent and from Rare Atom overall. Again, they are coming in with tenacity. They want this Ascension victory in the last year, at least for the time being, of Ascension existing, right? I will say, if they don't win Ascension, this would be a team to fear as like a VCT China team that would make that run, that would get a spot at Champions, right? Yeah. But that's a narrative for later, because right now they are on that track to victory.
别动开大，放锚点。闪避 A 没动，要打 B 打 B。小心拿枪，我们不知道在哪儿。我们进不来，就一个夜路。全部一个，进不来，就一个夜路。我们在 A 的，骗的，掉包。没有，包掉了，进来了，进来两个进来了。全 CT， 来给我加 CT 广告。往前走，往前走。推甲，楼梯，推黑。他们推甲，推黑。开飞机包点了。我被黑了。 有一，给个遮烟。对，抓我了，进来抓我了。假踢一下。上面。两个包点，两个包点。有刺，脸上有刺。哎，可能是双战哦。双船屋。 右手，小心右手，还有一个有。
Yeah, she is, I think, lights out today. Absolutely lights out. Yeah, I think they're not Spirit Z1 level of performance. Spirit Z1 was our 300 ACS average, but Z.
I think this is 300. This is an average, I think. Well, map 1 was what, 329? I'm gonna do quick math, guys. Oh, I didn't. What was that one? That was 280 something, 282.
Yeah. So
that is, that's 305. I think that literally is the ACS of the group stage of Spirit Z1, maybe one short. But overall, I mean, an insane performance on both maps, right? Jet with an Yar with an op. It didn't matter, attack or defense.
I think the crazy thing is he's making Jet work in a meta that's very Jet-like antagonistic. We don't really like seeing Jet as much in the double sentinel. He's somehow finding a lot of value from this, and I think a big thing is just his mechanics are out of this world. This Ascent map alone, when he slumped, the entire team slumped and couldn't find traction. The minute he got back on it, it was out of this world. But 307 ACS on Simon. On Omen controller, 25, 16, and 10. Doing absolutely everything he can to get this team across the line and bring it close. Bringing it absolutely close. His team woke up towards the end and unfortunately couldn't quite get it up there. But I think this isn't an indictment on any of these teams. I think this was a great series. I think Any Questions undoubtedly is still the team to look for. It's still the team to look at. I think they just meeting their kryptonites at multiple stages in their Ascension run against Rare Atom. This is the second of 2 matchups that they've lost in a 2-0 fashion. So yeah, ask yourself, can they do the lowest run? Can they come back to the grand finals against Rare Atom? And then is that the third one? Is third time's lucky, you know? So
I'm just saying, I'm not writing the script, but yesterday after their match, I said I kind of want to see a DRG Any Questions lower final rematch, and I feel like that is kind of the story that we're starting to write. I didn't expect it to be in this fashion. I expected, you know, at least map 1 to be a lot closer, a lot more competitive. This scoreline 13-10, very respectable. Maybe even I expected a map 3 in contention here, because I really wanted to see that Lotus rematch between these two teams with the reworked composition out of Any Questions, but it'll have to wait for the grand finals and for an AQ lower run for that to happen. But all in all, I think, again, the map veto, I think it was very smart for Random to pick into a map like Sunset. I'll take it back, instead of a repeat like Haven or a repeat like Lotus, just because it gave them an opportunity to expose a map early that they probably would have to play against Any Questions in a grand finals, in a best of 5. So now there's footage on that to review, and it's just, again, they're kind of just prepping for every case scenario on what's to come.
Yeah, I think the bigger thing is you don't feel comfortable picking Sunset against RA anymore. After seeing what they did yesterday against ODG, and now you see what they did against Any Questions, suddenly you're a bit more hesitant. Now you have to prep. You have to spend time prepping against Sunset, which might not be picked. They've not historically wanted to pick it. They've been very happy to just float it. So
yeah,
now you end up in a map pool where it's like, oh well, now you're coming to Sunset, and it's really bad against a team that's that proficient on it and just has such a really strong and solid perception of the game.
Well, with that, we're gonna throw it to a stage for a quick interview with one of the winning players.
开心的嘛，因为一直在胜利嘛，一直都是2-0拿下对方。
是的，我今天看到你们在结束的时候，大家都是非常开心的拥抱了起来。包括其实今天你们跟对手 AQ 是2番战了，时隔5日再次面对他们，觉得双方都有哪些变化呢？
从第一次和 AQ 交战的时候是好几天前了，到现在我们也都打过好多场比赛了。我相信就是我们双方的经验也都有一定的上升，一定的增长。
但是今天可以说你们还是经验更加老道丰富的那一环嘛，并且赢下了我们今天本场比赛的胜利。那相比起你的其他队员，你可能是最晚加入到队伍当中的一环嘛，所以你觉得你们现在的一个默契程度、配合状态有达到你的预期吗？
我觉得现在打的10分的话，我打8分吧，还有待增长。
那剩下的2分我们能够在最后的决赛看到吗？
可以。
好，期待一手我们最后的决赛。那再说到今天，其实来到图2的亚海玄城，对面是选出了上伯乐和夜路，但是他们当时在 A 小给的压力非常的大，但我们能够看到你在 A 大给到的协防也非常成功。那个时候你们的队内的交流和部署，能不能跟我们分享一下呢？
就是关于上伯乐和夜路这个阵容， 他们打点一般都是从两边夹着打的，我们只需要保住一边，我们就可以完成这个防守。
所以就好像有听出来，你们是不是其实已经做好了布防，然后之前也有是针对一波。
对，我们之前有跟这种阵容交战过。
就是长久的练习和储备嘛，然后加上今天可能在场上的灵光一现，因为看到你的残局能力也非常强。那最后再说到今天的胜利，也就意味着你们又一次进入到了我们晋升赛的决赛，而且这次还是有我们的2班一选。现在胜算如何？有没有信心？有什么话想要说的？
我们一定会拿下冠军的。
And we'll definitely get the
希望你们
champion.
到时候在决赛有一个不错的发挥，非常期待你的表现。再次感谢接受我们的采
And
访，
that's it for the
也是
interview.
恭喜获得了本场比赛的胜利。接下来即将进行的是我们的第2场比赛，让我们稍事休息，马上回来。
8 out of 10. They're at an 8 out of 10. They still see like
Giving them
potential to
some room for
go,
growth. I like it.
Yeah.
Humble.
which is crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's cool to see, especially with Ascension. I think I'll hop on it. Is the growth of the players as they get closer and closer to where they want to be. And today was one of the rare situations where we got to see the growth of a coach. Transition from a stoic to someone who's absolutely sending across the stage, getting involved in the project that is his players and the team that is a rare atom. But yeah, this is present. This is past. Coming up is another big one. The ramifications of this are massive. Yeah, so AQ not out of the tournament yet. They're in uppers, so they're going to get relegated to lowers, and they're playing against the winner of DRG versus ODG. But we'll come back to that in the next series. Thank you guys for watching. This is powered by Project Horizon. We have a new community Discord if you want to join. Yeah, and we appreciate you guys. And we'll see you in a bit. ! Discord, everyone. Welcome back, everybody. Familiar faces, familiar paces. It's Project Horizon VCT Ascension Elimination 1. As we head very deep into this run, it's DRG versus ODG. Once again, I'm Rigor, joined by Zombie. And we have another BO3, arguably one of the ones with the most ramifications today, because it's the first team out of this tournament. So a lot of stuff to talk to. Yeah, a lot of stuff to talk about. A lot of stuff to talk about as we prep for this game.
A team that maybe nobody expected to even be in playoffs in the form of Octagonal Disposition Gaming versus a team that probably nobody expected to be in the lowers in the first round in Dragon Ranger Gaming after we saw that Any Questions upset yesterday. So I'm super excited for the series. The DRG that showed up yesterday shows up today. I think this is going to be a very contentious series. But if it's the standard DRG, I was kind of leaning towards DRG favored like usual over Octagonal Disposition Gaming. So what form do you think we're going to get today?
Better than yesterday, hopefully. I think the big talking point was Lotus. Well, we'll start with ODG while the graphics is up. And yeah, Winner being a really clutch player and Aaron being a really clutch player. I think those contributed to how close that round was. The entire game, the entire series against Ray Atom was in the first place. Just those two.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be weird. It's gonna be a bit strange here because, like you said, not a lot of people expected them to get this far, and now they're going to be going up against tournament favorites in DRG. So how much will that goodwill and aspirations get you? And yeah, we have DRG. You've seen them the entire year at VCT, and the one talking point I want to bring up, Vukashu needs to shoot today. That's I think a big thing for DRG success. In Lotus yesterday, he had an uncharacteristic, I think he was 1 in 13 at a point. And Spirit Z1 was carrying the boat for as long as he could, but Vukashu just needs to step up, and the moments when he did step up, the rounds were easy, the rounds were close. It's just, how is this DRG side, a team that has a lot of experience, has a lot of reps, and lots of practice together from being together for at least a year, how are they going to shape up going into this game against ODG, who is raring for an upset? They're a team that's very capable of it.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, I see your Spirit Z1 fragged at map 2, and I raised you Xiao Yu as well. Had that slow start that Spirit Z1 had on map 1 as well in their matchup. If you remember, he was just getting obliterated by that chamber that we saw from Eugen even today. And I think so if they both are online from the start, it's going to make a really entertaining series. On the other side of things between these two, Aaron, obviously a great player. We saw him yesterday being super flexible. I want to see him have that standard performance, but outside of that, who else do we look towards? I mean, Achman as well. They have him as the head-to-head with Xiao Yu, which makes sense. I think Achman had a quieter series yesterday, but he did have some pop-off moments too. I think there was like a 1-4K. He didn't ace. I think he came close, right? He wasn't one of our aces, was he? Or did he get one?
My standout from Achman yesterday was Achman was playing Clove on Lotus. And I think over the course of 3 rounds, he went from not having Clove ulti online to at the end of round 3 you had Clove ulti online, just from general map control and just presence and just control of the map. Achman was a big thing, and Xiao is a person who's looking to disrupt a lot of that. Actually, I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of clashes between those guys. But the Initiator clash,
this is a good
I forgot about the Initiator clash. YH and Nick is.
Bro,
Nick
that
single-handedly bailed them out.
Fade on Lotus was scary yesterday for both teams, and YH was no exception by any stretch of the imagination. And I will say, I mean, Nick had his pop-off moments, but I feel like him and Flexen are quieter than they usually are on the DRG squad. Yeah. I feel like usually all of them have their pop-off moments, but yeah, it was very absent in that regard. Like you said, it was just Spirit Z1 trying to keep their ship afloat because, again, both of the series yesterday were so close, right? Both having an OT 12-14, and both the other maps having, a close double digits affair. One was 13-10, one was 13-11. So, again, it's a matter of a few rounds that can make a difference in those upper semifinals that has now put them in this position, 2 map losses away from elimination.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone expected this. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think anyone expected this. And especially from the side of DRG, which is arguably one of the better teams coming out of Ascension last year, to be back here. Obviously, there's restructuring and everything, but to be in lower bracket looking at elimination after having such a hot season, qualifying for champs and everything, a bit surprising for everyone. But I think they'll always be favored. I think there's an argument to say that they have some of the best shooters in the entire CN region. So it's gonna be interesting. However, Zayu and YH are looking to upset that for sure. And I don't think we can have a conversation about upsets without having a conversation about winner, just in general as that Sentinel player. But depending on what roles he's going to be put on is going to be very dependent on stuff. So
I felt so bad with how many like 1v2, 1v3 clutches he was in on Lotus, particularly on that Vice. I'm hoping either today he's not put in that position and gets to actually like live by the side, die by the side Sentinel, or I'm hoping that he wins a few of those clutches because then he's the star player of the team, right? And I think he had potential to win a lot of those. Like some of them just came down to the wire, but it was just, again, unfortunate he was in that position by any means.
But he's the Sentinel of DRG,
or
he's played the Sentinel. Yeah, Sentinel syndrome, and Sentinels are beholden to the maps you play. And while we're on the topic of maps, Bind and Corrode not going to be a factor. They're not going to be a factor at all. These teams both, permaban this. So, what are your predictions? You were on the ball the last one about what maps you suspect. So, what about this one?
This one, I think, is a little bit harder for me to read, just because DRG's options are so open in terms of maps that are a bit weaker in the ODG pool. I think a safe bet for both these teams is Lotus, right? We saw it yesterday. ODG might think they can pull a fast one on DRG there yet again, but DRG, it's still a strong map. I think they're still confident in it despite the loss. If we wanted to get spicy, I would say DRG could go for like a Haven pick because it's a weak side for ODG, and ODG could try to push an Abyss pick because it's an okay map for them. They've been workshopping it, and it's a map DRG doesn't have reps on. Outside of that, similarly, we could see DRG even opt for like a Sunset. Similarly, it's a weakness for the side of ODG. So Sunset, again, a lot of options it feels like for DRG, and there's some safe bets. Even Ascent is a safe bet for both of these sides. So
I think the big thing I'll point out is we've predicted how many maps have been played? 6 as of the last 2. We've predicted Haven to be played in all 6 of those maps, and not a single Haven pick this playoffs.
Yeah, I didn't expect Haven for the last. I thought they weren't going to chance it again because of how close it was, that 13-11. But here are our two teams, DRG versus Octagonal Disposition Gaming. I'm super excited as the head-to-head, and I really want like both teams being at their best. It felt like yesterday, right? Both sides were like just like going to town, like left hook, right hook, you know. And today the first match wasn't that way. And today, if we don't get the best of both of these teams, it could be a very similar story to our first best of 3 of the day, where it's just one-sided dominance.
And with slightly more ramifications, because this is the last time you're gonna see this team this year. The loser of this match. And
any Ascension, right? It's going away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So how do they salvage this? How do they do it? I think the big thing I want to bring up is Rare Atom versus AQ was one of the games where everyone is standing, and AQ versus DRG is a game where everyone is standing, even the coaches. So I think it's cool to see that the stage is so close to each other. Like all these players are so entwined, and it feels that head-to-head where you can stand up and look someone on the other side of the stage in the eyes, and even the coaches can have a go at it. So I think we're seeing a lot of superstars in the making, and now we just need to see that on server, have them enjoy the moment, have them actually play the game to a relatively high level. But looking for an upset, ultimately it's a game with a lot of stakes and ramifications opposed to yesterday, with a lot of players posited to potentially run away with this game. We saw 13-3 previously. We're going to see an Abyss.
Wait, okay, I kind of did it again. I said DRG was going to choose Sunset or Haven, a weak map for the side of ODG. I said ODG had to take a risk. They had to pick into a weakness, or a question mark, I should say, a map they haven't seen out of DRG. And then the last map, it's the 2 safe ones that were kind of in contention, right? I think that's what I'm seeing. And I said it was going to be Lotus or Ascent. So the fact that it is that Lotus pick, it would be a treat to end there. But I am curious then, because this does set up DRG, I think, for success here, just because they got that map 1 pick. Because Abyss, again, when it's a question mark, sometimes teams just come out and knock it out of the park, and they blow it out of the water. Like they can come in and be like, we were so prepped on this map, we were so ready, and with a few reps as well on the side of ODG, 1 win and 1 loss, there's a chance that it could not go the way they expect it to.
Yeah, I think Abyss is. I think this is the first time we're seeing Abyss for a while. I think that Abyss is one of the few maps that have been selected for like a reach or like an adjustment, you know? So a lot of the prep you're going to be doing here is shaded with that like expectation of not only the champs like comeback and understanding of how that works, you're also coming with it from a lot of updated changes and knowing that a lot of the stuff that you're prepping now and have been prepping is going to be irrelevant within, arguably this might be the last day's relevance if you win or lose. So but we're starting on Sunset. Abyss will come as all things do, and I think we have, yeah, we've seen that ODG Viper comp very very prevalent, especially on that attack side. I commended a lot yesterday ODG for their mastery of how to play anti-ecos and their understanding of macro on economical level. DRG, Spirit C1 taking those neutral fights, I think excelled and found a lot of value, and very standard from the side of DRG, no surprises on either side. I think if I were to pick a comp that I favor, I would pick the DRG comp, just because there's a bit of a characteristic mismatch between Viper and Neon. One wants to go really, really fast, and one wants to play a bit more structured gameplay.
But I'm gonna disagree with you there in a friendly way. I think the way that ODG plays this, it works really well with the Neon, because you'll have like that toxic screen, right? It'll split mid, it allows you to get right up to that top mid choke, and then your Neon will explode through it, right? With a relay bolt. And I think that's a really strong, like, again, yeah, you start out really slow, but then you ramp up immediately, and it can catch teams like DRG especially off guard when they do kind of go for these more aggressive main fights. They might not be in position, you might overwhelm one player that was left to just jiggle an angle, and I'm hoping that's what we'll see of them on the attack, is again these mid conditioning fights on their attack half. But outside of things here, I mean, DRG is the team coming in confident. We just saw Vukushu on camera, even with that, you know, missed performance yesterday, saying it's gonna be a 2-0, let's go. And I think that's gonna be important in their defense as well. You know, let your duelists go run rampant where they want, while you are that kind of focal point, that rock on the B side, and you're gonna have to deliver, I think, if you're Vukushu.
Yeah, so we have two stories here. We have Vukushu showing up, and we have how does the thematic context of like Viper and single duelist versus double controller, or double duelist rather, and how they're going to match up and clash at each other. A big thing that we observed on DRG's Ascent, and a bit on Sunset, if that A-hold falls apart, things get very bad very, very quickly, because it is just Vukushu and whoever he's with, whether it's Nick or Flexen, having to rotate into 2v2 and dare I say 2v4 5s, just because of the structure and the stability of that A-hold. So eyes on that A-hold. Spirits especially likes playing that strong side, is very capable and competent when he actually gets going on that strong side, to make the rest of the support staff job significantly easier. So, but that's a lot of talk, that's a lot of theory behind it. I think a lot of context shaded in. Unfortunately, these guys aren't lower brackets, so a lot of faults that they can look at to upgrade their game and sort of refine and fix it. So we'll see. We're just waiting to get into server, waiting to get the green light to get into servers. Yeah, big game. A very, very big game. I don't think it can be understated how big the game is and the difference in personalities we might get here as the stakes are reaching a relatively fever pitch here.
Yeah, and I will say, speaking of the differing personalities, I feel like ODG doesn't have as big of a stage presence, and I think we've seen the energy out of DRG pretty handily. So excited to see, there it is, as you asked us to go into this map, where it will be ODG starting on the defense. So we'll get to see that sentinel, that controller mentality, kind of hopefully help them get off on the right foot.
Yeah, we're gonna see the standard default again, and it finds one, but in a completely different area. It's actually gonna find one onto Nick almost immediately as they opted for that mid fight. As Vukushu looking to get started, that's a start. Vukushu shooting, at least on pistol, finds one, equalizes the numbers. However, a lot of low HP here from across the side. Aaron looking to play spoiler here, but gets completely shut down by Spirits, who's now 1 HP, having taken 4 duels in the last 20 seconds.
Okay. Vukushu asked to hold his own now while being pressured by this aggressive B main. And a nice just patience out of him, right? Waiting for the team to regroup up with him. I do like the little elbow re-clear on the other side of the map as well, currently, from Zishun, just getting that confirmation that they aren't following through on A. They aren't trying to just pull a fast one. So this is, I'd say, a dangerous exec, right? You have You know, Y8 should be getting the recon back online soon. Hopefully we'll see Xiaoyu able to play off of that once the exec and plant comes through. So let's see how they play out these final moments.
It's going to be very DRG favored, or ODG rather. Very ODG favored Zayas. Zaishu right now, backside. Playing their life, but 1 HP. Flexen looking for some damage here as well. Great share of shots.
There we go.
ODG starting it off hot. Starting off pretty summarily and starting it really strong. I think Zaishu got first blood and closed out the round as well, so. And it's blind, of course it's blind, yeah.
Yeah, I think ODG is like a good balance of what any questions wants to do, right? In terms of like, oh, get aggressive, fight forward, get a kill, but then they get out, right? They don't keep pushing through. And so that's exactly what we saw there, right? Yeah, because she got a fast one on the Viper, but that refight kind of got things wrapped up, got them a nice handle on the situation and how it was going to pan out, so. Set them up for success, set them up for the pistol, sets them up for the buy now, where you once again introduce Xiaoyu, established hopefully on a deep line by Aaron here with this outlaw this time around. And then they'll just leave him there. My concern is though, when a double duelist is diving at you here, can you still hold on to said sightline? No, you can't. That's the answer.
Yeah, you need someone
you can't
to
shoot the
just
Han either.
Oh,
not a second.
Completely,
No way.
yeah, completely get annihilated there by Spirit C1. Nice tempo switch. It's an insane tempo switch from DRG to just hear that first shot ring out and just chase it and run him down. Now and then really advanced positions. Flexen looking for a kill here. Guardian in hand, a bit sleep at the wheel. The shots miss. Right clicks are going to go awry, and Ackman looking for a kill, but ODG is going to trade it out almost summarily. But Vukushu on the scoreboard in the kill feed. What's true to form than he used to be, as ODG winner is going to find one. It's 1v2 Flexen. How can you navigate this? First one, shots go right, shots ring, and Flexen finds one and closes it out as well. Eco turned into a buy round, now consisting into a bonus, and definitely a better start. Definitely a better start from them.
I think that was a 1-1 finger saying like we're tied up 1-1, we just thrifted you guys. I mean, the trades and the way they were able to accelerate and overwhelm Aaron was just really, really strong here, right? And then just as well, the intelligent repositions there from Flexen in the clutch. I mean, I was like, Guardian this close proximity, I don't think he's gonna get the job done. And look at that, he's like, yeah, it's 1-1, it's fine, we'll get it back. So again, showcasing the humbleness out of that squad, that side, and now with no money, we'll see what they have creatively cooked up. It looks very similar actually to the previous few rounds. And just gonna be slow, methodical, try to clear out these angles, and it'll be just a matter of if ODG can catch them off guard here or not.
I think the big thing to note is Nick's fade was insane the last game. The last series, Nick's fade has always been consistent because he has a really good head on his shoulders and really good read of the game and how it should function and when the timings are happening. So you'll oftentimes see Nick throwing util that seems near perfect. Just to flush out people B main, flush out people A main, so. Let's see how they go about this.
They're playing this safe. They don't want to, you know, put all that work in to get a second round thrifty just to throw it away when they have their buy on the third. So didn't like what they were sensing over towards B main. Vukushu here, looking for any sort of confirmation of this B-side presence, be it market, be it on the site itself, and winner. I don't know if he quite got the contact or not there on the jiggle, but he's still backed out onto the corner, playing for the right click classic RNG. Fortunately, the Prowler's gonna catch him out, and it's gonna be a really easy shot for Ackman. So Gamble stack goes awry. Vukushu cleaned up a kill with the Outlaw. This is gonna be a hard round to salvage.
Yeah, and Chekhov's Prowler as Nick finds insane value out of the recon util alone. Just isolating and pulling people into the open, exposing them for the rest of the team to absolutely clean up here. And Eco 1v3 or 3v5 against rifles on Sunset A site. Your odds aren't great. And Spirit C1 leading the hold. Gonna diminish this even further. Outlaw rings out. Vukushu finds another. And Zalya got dinked through the wall. That's crazy. That hurts. That's a bit of an ouch as he's 17 HP. Either dies to spike or an errant bullet and he's sent to the Shadow Realm. Leg spotted and Vukushu cleans up 4 kills for Vukushu. More on form than he was yesterday. Definitely more on form than he was yesterday. And the DRG with Vukushu shooting is very, very scary.
Yeah, very, very. He like we said, it's rare to have a bad map like that out of Vukushu, and we said if DRG was back to their fighting form today, it would be a very, very different game. And I mean, he's like, okay, guys, I'm the one that has the least expensive weapon here. I can take the risks. But now we're into a bye. Zhao Yun has the operator in hand and is one off from the overdrive, so there's a lot of options for how the late round could go here, but we're seeing the first off just a ripcord, let it go, and it's gonna be Akhman actually the tip of the spear here. We talked about how he had just a lukewarm performance yesterday, but he's even taking the Spirit Z1 flare away from him, so at this point, yeah, 6 HP, but you've done your job. You've made the space for your team.
That's still alive. Shock Dart electricity is pretty lethal from that range and manages to circumvent it. Zachman's 1 HP, but also relatively close from ulti. But Zayu is also insanely close to ulti, overdrive and literally 1 kill. So this is a round that if played incorrectly can snowball quite dramatically in the other team's favor. So making sure you dot your T's, cross your I's, and DRG's post plants is basically perfect. Now we can actually go hunting for other people. Akhman looking for damage here.
Hear
so
them
close
too.
to ulti. Yeah, they know, and this could be pricey. This could be very pricey if the shots go awry. So how much do they commit to running them down? Zhai's gonna find one. That's the ulti now online and in pockets. Can they salvage the operator? And ODG's operator drops. DRG running them down. The hounds got let loose and came back, bearing gifts.
I don't know if you caught it in the pre-show, but I think there was a 89% post-plant conversion rate or something along those lines for Dragon Ranger gaming, and it's for purposes like that, right? They just have some way to set these perfect crossfires on site and just have them just like ebb and flow like with the tide, right? Like, okay, we confirmed there's nobody coming out of Link, let's adapt this for CT for like elbow side. And again, there was no way for them to get through that. They weren't over peeking the op, no, nothing. Not giving ODG even a hope, a whiff of success. So now once again, money is reset. DRG showing similar dominance, right, to what we just saw out of Rare Adam on Sunset up against Any Questions, right?
Yeah, I think the best part about playing difficult opposition in the upper brackets is you make your adjustments. You make your adjustments and you overshoot where the adjustments need to be, and then you suddenly come out looking a lot better. And DRG is currently in form for that. Looking quite dominant in the precursory stages of this. Is Vukushu gonna find a kill onto Shen or Waishen? Yeah, he's gonna get a kill with the classic. Finds 2 with the classic, but his rampage ends summarily. And DRG weathering the storm, but flank is coming. They will see it with the trip, so flank is gonna be quite easily exposed or found out.
Okay. Now you can hear, but they already flipped the site, right? Even before this flank was coming in, right? They're like, okay, we haven't made contact yet. They're either trying to die to spike or something here. And at this point, I mean, with Fade 1 off Nightfall, I would maybe try avoiding giving the kills to Nick, but I think that's why the Neural Theft came out. They're confident they'll get it back. And number 2, they want these kills. They are hunting for them. Vukushu doesn't even need them. Well, I mean, now he can since he used the Neural Theft. He's like, hey, wait, 2 extra ult orbs towards my next ult. But it's flexing, sealing away the thunder. Xiao Yu not able to escape the same fate with only 11 HP. That's a quick shorty kill and a half. And DRG just exert another round.
Looking revitalized here. The side of DRG, they didn't look this alive in the first map of yesterday, and now everybody seems like they want to contribute to winning this game. So those shots from Aaron were outrageous. But yeah, everyone looks more drilled. I think it's the pressure, you know. As you get deep into the tournament, you sort of want to start peaking at the right time. And form-wise, DRG is looking a lot better here.
Okay. Once again, they like this deep B main line for Xiao Yu. Choice of preference. And I do like the DRG just immediate conditioning, like from the get-go. It's like, okay, confirm if there's forward B presence here, right? In some way with the Prowler. And then they decide, okay, do we want to fight into that? Do we want to avoid it? Do we want to lean A? The difference this time is how deep this double controller is in A. And this is where we get to see, again, how does DRG piece it apart? Can they ante it? Because they literally just saw it yesterday. And now they've done it so beautifully this time too. Not as much as punishing as I think what we saw yesterday out of Rare Adam, where they were able to get like a kill or two, usually shut down players like Winner, but it still pushes them back deeper. And now the Dimensional Drift is just for that information, that confirmation, where to guide the Nightfall in, which is just like, hey, this is our site, vacate the premises. But Winner says, hey, I'm the landlord, I decide. They are looking to stay, and flexing on this angle is dangerous. The relay bolt even more so, keeping Winner stuck in a position that not thrive in, and at this point it is just cleanup crew status.
Yeah, Vukushu wreaking a lot of havoc here. He's 10-2 comparatively. Map 2 of Lotus. In yesterday's series, he was 2-10 at around about the same point. So we're seeing a very different version of DRG today, and a lot more calm, cool, composed. Nick, don't do it. If you value a hit on your shoulders, don't peek that. And the double swing comes through, and Zayu drops the operator once more. This is the second operator that's struggled to find value at all on this defensive side.
And that was, I feel like, something he did find impact on yesterday, even amidst the loss on Sunset. So it is unfortunate to see that not going his way. And again, I think that comes out of like, hey, you've seen now the sunset of this team yesterday. Like, you know what it looked like in very recency. And it looks like they came up with some really like proactive fade util to circumvent, to locate it. And now it looks like ODG's own coach wants to step in. Boy, just trying to talk with this team. Say, okay, if the forward lines both on A and B aren't working, I want to see, I want to see one good like round strat, like aggressive style, just to jumpstart the system, right? Like give me like a tiles like relabel dive in, right, from Xiaoyu, something like that, right? With 5 players, and then after that, I need to see again more of a retake centric approach. You know, maybe like even if it's just like Xiaoyu playing aggressive, but from like the backside B angles, etc. Like something like that on this defense is what I think they need, because they're giving too much early round information to DRG as well, just with this forward positioning, right? A Prowler main on both sides, and DRG has this entire thing figured out, it feels like.
Yeah, I think that also the big thing is, we'll talk about like in holes and like gaps that our Sentinel and our team are creating. I think DRG's doing a really good job at like playing the map in a way that pokes holes, forces shifts, and like exposes weaker areas here. They're gonna walk into 4 people and the read is immaculate. Like they've set their weak side onto A side, so if Vukushu dies, that's 1 Vandal dropped at least, and if he gets any kills, that's exponential gain in terms of building up that next Cypher ult, the neural fit. So it's gonna be a speed up here. There's no trips on site to speak of.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of what I asked for. It's just not mid, it's A main instead. And they're continuing to follow through and just clear out all the spake, make sure there's no lurk player like there typically is in the form of Vukushu. And I did ask for them to play retake as well, so they're letting Aaron get out of the way, right? Yeah, Aaron's getting 1 or 2 on his own right. He's doing his job as a sentinel anchoring the site, but I do like them keeping the numbers here, right? Aaron as well has that hero rifle and has a neural theft, so if he's with the team, gets a kill, and they send out the hat, this could go really well. And it doesn't seem like DRG has flipped the site just yet either. They want to fight back into this, and I think they might bite off more than they can chew, but they look like they were starving right now, and this is a feast for the taking. What?
Yeah, and it's to be expected, I think, from the rifle versus the classic buy. Like, just from econ alone, you're honestly favoring those fights, and they were given so much space to figure out the picture. You know, they understood the bigger picture before they even got onto site. They were aware of Cypher, got onto site, there was no Cypher, they had no A main pressure, it must be A. Like, it must be a fast flank, and they were just all prepared for it. We saw sparks of brilliance from this yesterday as well, on Ascent, where people were pushing through B main, and they were just all on the same page about the order of operations in regards to how do we respond to stuff, so...
And you can tell where the confidence level is at, right? Because they decided to fight back into B main instead of flipping into Boba as well. So they are just like taking the aggressive, the risky things and winning them regardless. And again, it's like the same protocol start in terms of that Prowler B main, and then they do what they want off of that, right? This time I didn't see anything, so they feel safe to scale up mid this time. And they're trying to switch things up even more so. I feel like this is a dangerous game to challenge into the toxic screen, especially now with the Hunter's Fury thrown in. They feel the pressure to speed up here, perhaps, and Vukashu somehow gets a kill through the toxic screen on Market right there as it clipped it. I think that was Aaron that fell. And now suddenly the B side feels ripe for the taking. There is one little snag, one possible wrinkle here with YH tucked away, but even that's been squared away. Achman is going insane today alongside Vukashu. Spared Z1, yeah, is here, but he's just chilling this time around. They're like, you carried yesterday, take a break.
Yeah, it's all clicking. I think that's the big thing. It's all clicking inside you. This is the third operator he's bought this half. Can he even salvage this one as well? As Vukashu smells blood. Yeah,
no
Vukashu's hunting. He might get one at least. Yeah, there's the first one, so he's gonna find one. But into the waiting arms of Vukashu. Yeah.
I didn't see the first one get it. I just didn't think he would hold on to it. I was like, I see 3 steps ahead. Anyways, yeah, 7-1 right now, and it was a very nice little switch up. You know, flipped a few pages in the strat book to see what the mid space take looks like.
That's
that
a crazy
over peak, yeah, they overfound Market there just a touch, right? They had a beautiful sentinel in like pseudo sentinel setup there with the toxic screen, right? You wait for them to push into Market, you pop the wall, and you suddenly have decay on a choke point. But frustrating to see that's how it plays out. And now they probably aren't gonna play a mid take like that again from DRG. Sent back to the A side, right? Oh, it's gonna be an early challenge. I think that was a shotgun. Yep, Bucky to the face. That one's gonna hurt. Finally, you found a way to shut down Achman's momentum. And speaking of momentum, here's the mid tick I was asking for, Rigger. Let's see if it functions how I thought it would kickstart the system.
So we know the flank is coming, but now we have to deal with the fact that there's a flank. We just gotta fight into it. If it works, if they find the kills, then it works. Yeah, it's okay. We're finding the kills. Yeah, we found 3 kills immediately for the side of DRG. We're gonna commit to a refight and actually win from guns alone. Ring around the rosy. Bucky gets 2 kills. Oh, the smoke is there. This Bucky's looking, raring for a 3rd one. Oh, and he doesn't quite get it. Spirit Z1 with the shorties. We spoke about Spirit Z1 and ulti dimensional drifts plus shorty being as effective as an ISO ulti.
Oh yeah.
And he wins in the Thunderdome. That is an Omen smoke versus a Bucky. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I thought there was a chance that round was going to be close, but we need to talk about Flexen now, I think, a little bit more. He has been at the centerpiece of dismantling these flank attempts out of ODG time and time again, right? Whether it's just fragging by the weapon itself, or even just the late-stage paranoias to ensure that they cannot just strong hand their way through it on the side of Octagonal Disposition Gaming. So all late sides covered, and with this 8-1 as well, we're going to have the second time out of the half called by ODG, realizing that they are very similarly, I would say, to what we saw out of Any Questions, borderlining that point of no return, right? I think they were on 9-1 when they took the timeout, the second one, and then they won the next 2 to get a 9-3 half. Where do we think ODG gets the line drawn?
The way they're playing right now, I reckon they get... I forecast... It feels like the momentum is not as easy right now. Like it's slowing down dramatically, depending on the level of switch up, especially addressing the fact that they're being moved and they're like the gaps in their defense are being exposed. 8-4 doesn't seem unfeasible, to be realistic. Like the major reason why they're losing is because they're anting into that op and putting a lot of precedence on that op. But the issue isn't the contact, the issue is they execute. You know, like the pop. That's been the big issue for the side of ODG, and how did they deal with it? And this is a better adjustment. Yeah, throwing that molly to just stop the neon in their tracks, and then they'll jump spot. Looking for value. As Paranoid's gonna go and shots are gonna get fired, but shots all go awry. Winner's gonna find the first one here onto Spirit Z1. An uncharacteristic whiff here, but the A main hold holds strong. Reinforcements coming in the form of Vukashu.
Okay.
Is they're just gonna be forced out. Yeah, just from smokes alone. You can't contest it safely because the smokes make it really nigh impossible to trade anything.
This is
You
gonna
only
be
see half the
frustrating.
picture. And
Like,
Viper split as
ODG
well.
is so ready for a fight this time around, and then DRG just doesn't give it to them, right? They rotate. I like the early drone reclear. That's really effective as well. So now they can hopefully start framing things around market, around B main. And that's where I think I really like this idea from DRG to fight into top mid here. I need to see some Utes, I was going to say, put towards it, and that was difficult, right? Because you don't have flashes, you don't have relay, you don't have paranoia. Everything was utilized, right? Over towards that A side, so cut a little high and dry in the util department. Just have to contact up and hope for the best. And fortunately, feels like Xiao Yu has his best to offer. Extra kill found, really able to keep them at bay. And they still even have the trapwire off a market to play off of. But why are you picking ahead of it? Aaron may fall, but the rest of the team holds strong. And Boba, YH, and Zixuan good to go. And hey, this is how it starts, right? A few rounds to cap off the half, and you might give yourself some ground to stand and fight upon.
Yeah, it's a massive relief too. I think first is if you're ODG's coaching staff, you know that you can win the rounds, but for the players to actually show you that they can is a big thing. And just an overwhelming amount of util on that A fight. Omen smoke, Viper Orb, Viper's Pit, and you can't go A. You go mid, there's 4 people waiting for you basically. 2 people in top mid and 2 people market, so. Definitely a better look. We're going back to that B default. The overdrive's going to be committed. Running through tiles, clears out all of tiles, clears out all of A main. Yeah, all of A main fully cleared out. Knife's going to be committed because you're running out of options, running out of space to play around with. There's eyes on YH. Eyes on Aaron, finds the first one. Ackman's gonna find his trade almost summarily, and Spiritsy doesn't whiff this time. But he's 1 HP for his troubles here. And it's a 5v or 4v3 post plant.
I feel like we've gone full circle, right? Started the half with successful BXX, and now we are back to them. And they
no,
might
it's
have
ugly.
overpicked that one. Yeah, you had a beautiful crossfire, and even the overdrive for Ackman. And now Nick has fallen his Vukashu 11 HP. No theft out, has the position for Zixuan and has the angle. Insane 1v1 clutch, much needed to keep this team, to keep Octagonal Disposition Gaming at bay. That'll be at 9th. 9-3 at the best. And hope for out of ODG for the half.
That's a hot stopper. That's a hot stopper at all.
Big mistake. They gifted
yeah,
that
massive mistake.
Yeah. They had no reason to peek that, it doesn't feel like, right?
None. We had Spike. We had Spike planted in a relatively good spot. Vukashu was still coming from B main. Could have assisted in the CT phase, and then we both just double swing without playing off someone's contact. And I think Nick was stairs as well, so
yeah.
Small mistakes. I don't think
they still win their round, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So then a VOD review and note of later, like, guys, don't do this again. And now, things also not to do again is challenge Xiao Yu. Apparently over towards middle, able to find a quick kill from top mid, and once again it's gonna be retake simulator for ODG, looks like, for the time being. And Ackman saying, hey, if we want to fight Bobo, let us fight Bobo. Last round was a fluke, we are gonna hit these shots this time. Spiritsy and Ackman both get a kill where they were previously bodied in the last round, and this is reasons why we see that 89% win rate in the post plant. Just so effective, even whether it's clutches, whether it's just one-off fights. They're just holding their own in every single one of these battles. And even the tag team nature between these two duelists is so clean. And wow, parallel mirrored shorties, and it's still Spiritsy to come out on top.
Ackman is dancing. He's absolutely dancing. He's just, in comparison to where he was yesterday, where his impact was ridiculously quiet, this one is a statement of a declaration of intent and proclamation of violence from Ackman, as he's just finding so many kills. It feels like we're watching we're spectating Ackman through other people's POVs sometimes. That's what it felt like that last round and the last couple of rounds, where it's just Spiritsy wants to take a fight. Don't worry, Ackman's killed him. Vukashu's going to trade into something. Don't worry, Ackman's there already. You know, so Ackman's definitely showing up. This last. Yeah, the last game he's 11-8. Absolutely him and Vukashu running the show right now. In comparison, it's very stark contrast to the way yesterday's games went, where it was just Spiritsy. It was just Spiritsy trying to keep this boat afloat, and now those guys have contributed. They're pulling their fair share of the weight, and you can see it on the server. It's actually significantly better look and a very confident attack side from the side of DRG.
Yeah, and I even said I wanted to see more out of players like Flexen, players like Nick, and Flexen is delivering in those pivotal moments where he's under high pressure, high strain, and I think that again shows this is what the team can look like when everyone is at their best, and you know, you're confident when your Sentinel is fighting forward like a duelist. Vukashu on that third run with that Outlaw was crazy, and again we're seeing signs of life right from ODG, like from players like Xiao Yu, from players like Aaron, but we need that from the entire team. We need them to find this closure, because again they're getting good like plays, but then they're not getting the job done.
100% KST.
Dang.
Wait, he's participated in some way, shape, or form in 100% of the rounds.
Do we think it's kills in every round? That's what I'm wondering.
So KST is kills, assists, survives,
Yeah, no, I know
or
that, but I'm
traded.
wondering if it was
Yeah.
kills though. It low-key could be a kill every single round. I would not be surprised.
I think so. He's 16 and 11 or something.
We've had 12 rounds. Do we think he's gotten a kill every round?
I think so. Maybe. I wouldn't put it past him.
I would hedge my bets on that, but all right.
16 and 3.
10.5.
Yeah, probably.
He probably has gotten a kill every round. Well, no, because he got a 4K. Remember, he got a 4K one round. That is 12. Yeah, that would still put us at. He could have gotten a kill every round. All right. Anyways, for the time being, this pistol round is everything Proctagonal Disposition Gaming, if they even want a chance. It's a little buddy system minus the singular winner lurk over towards A. And a hefty 4 stack on A. Just confident maybe in their ability to retake B. Confident maybe in the gate crash as well from Spirit Z1 towards B side. That helps too. And this is where I mentioned, yeah, you can pop through this toxic screen, catch the opposition off guard, and that's exactly what they've done. But Vukashu, blind through the wall, is able to hit some shots with the ghost. And then, unable, not unfortunately able to escape the trade, but the damage is done. Yeah,
The
the
thoughts in
2v2.
advance, but it's a great concept from ODG though. No? To go for that B split and
They're
Spirits
divided.
looking close. Yeah, Spirit Z1, calm, cool, collector plays the crosshair.
They look easy.
Yeah, it was very composed of them actually to weather that storm and to break up that what could be very disastrous for them. If Vukashu dies there, it's very bad. It's actually horrendous, but I think ODG should be credited. That's actually a great concept. Using that Viper Wall to scale up and to take that first peek. Aaron got that massive first kill. It's just you're exposed to too many angles, and the Viper Wall isn't an actual wall. It's just a vision blocker. So
It's unfortunate that it was had to be used on a pistol, but it's because the pistol round was so important. Because I would want to see, you know, like some sort of stun, some sort of paranoia through the wall. Difficult because they don't have a flash, right, to flash through the wall. But outside of that, Ken, gotta force. At least I was gonna say you gotta force. They don't even force. It's just a few sheriffs. That is just an insane way to say, okay, we're confident that we can either get this round through with what we have, or that we think we can make the 10 rounds in a row to go to OT. And now,
which is a massive expectation of anybody.
Oh, absolutely. Ooh. I like the Poison Cloud, at least close up the distance there a bit, but
Ow.
some consistency has been, yeah, Aaron with this Sheriff is just so strong. Oh, but he doesn't get the second. The trade, immediate. You can see the pressure setting in for ODG. This bait into the shotgun is not going to go well. Yep. Okay, at least
Traded
that's
equal,
not bad.
yeah, it's traded equal actually, and double upgrade is.
I'll take it. They don't have the
Can't get
yellow,
on
though.
That was a shot that was not destined for you, and neither was that one. Both of those shots were incidental, but Vukashu comes away with both of them.
Nah, the first he saw, I think he saw them 100% when the dark cover was still dropping. But the second one is crazy.
The first shot, I think he went for not Jikwan? Went the jump spot. He went for the jump spot. Yeah.
But he still saw it, so I think that one we can count the skill. The second one maybe luck.
Yeah, the second one is nonsense. That is crazy. But match point now, it's a full rifle buy versus opponents, so ODG potentially set up here for at least another round. Salvage giving himself another opportunity.
Ooh. Great kill as well. Achman dropped, the big picture player. Looks like they're just trying to keep things fairly simple as well towards this B side. Expecting maybe a paranoia out to set up, hopefully, Xiaoyu for the entry. But stingers are dangerous, dangerous weapons in the right hands, and Nick showed he could do last round. Let's see. Can do it again. Oh. Are we gonna play a retake here?
Potentially. Omen has no noise here, so
I think it's gonna depend on what Vukashu is able to do. Yeah.
But he knows it's Sopa, so yeah, you assume that Sopa equals spikes. First shot's gonna go, second shot's gonna land. And the flood through's coming in. DRG Vukashu is gonna find an outlaw kill CT spawn. Conscious fading, no thefted.
Wait, and the backstab though!
It's a 1v3.
Great timing from Aaron. Great timing. Don't peek the outlaw! Okay, unless your name is Aaron. Okay, not as quick as I was hoping for when you have to win, 10 rounds in a row, but gets the job done, showcases enough confidence, showcases they have that backstab opportunity from Aaron. Try to think about what else. I think I wish there was a little bit more coordination there with Nick coming out of market and the player's back sight, but all in all, I think the cage is there from Vukashu to keep him alive while he's trying to go for it is great. And yeah, just guys, careful, don't overfight the outlaw.
I think the big thing here is that A main fight. And it looked like at least Akman spammed through early, and it was just like a counter spam or just like a respam. This is a crazy
There's
concept.
been a
So there's
lineup
three,
as well.
yeah, 3 people mid to cut off this rotate. Yeah, and you just insert the neon, and then you just move around based off of any information. We're gonna collapse into a B hit, but problem is with this Viper, you can just walk up A. It's pretty inconsequential. You don't really have any recon to clear out the A main player.
So interesting.
It's gonna be a stack, yeah. A seems like it's gonna be the staging area, barring any kind of tragedy.
Like, they're starting off with these 4-1 stacks, right? But then as soon as they get the intel that there's nobody like aggressive B main, A main, they rotate off of it, right? And then suddenly you look back and it's like, oh, this looks like a normal default, like when the round starts, right? And I wish that ODG was able to identify that tendency here. And I think that's difficulty is this is a map they were maybe hoping not even to go to today. So Flexen, aggressive angle. Toying with the idea of a repeat off the paranoid, thinks better of it, instead decides to play with the team here. And Akman is desperately going to be in need of that help here. Really Bullet allows the site scale up. Still silent though on the side of ODG. Finally plant tempted. Oh wait, this refight, I like it. It's a great call from ODG. Will it work?
Short, yeah. Akman's gonna find one onto IH. And they have control of the spike, so how do you manage this? You don't have the Viper's Orb, but you have full control of the spike. You're just gonna double face here. Is Flexen and Vukashu doing it everything? Absolutely doing everything. Is Flexen gonna close it out? Closes out map 1 with a really great refight into this. They just took control of the entirety of the site, and story of this game, DRG got on the gas and just never let off.
Was that a 4v2?
Yes.
That is even crazier. Like ODG, that was such a good call to fight there. It was just, again, I guess swift communication. Which, by the way, I can sing the praises of DRG's communication all day when you're communicating, by the way, in multiple languages and translating in the middle of rounds as well on top of everything. But that is just so effective in that last moment as we look back at this last round. Again, this was so smart from ODG, and just they even knew that they were refighting because the neural theft showed it. So just the way they were able to slice the pie and just play their own time down. And Flexen again, I need to see how many multi-kills he got because they have to be off the charts in terms of impact this map too.
Yeah, I think it's just I would say, if I so to summarize this game into one phrase, it's just structure, cohesiveness, bond. That's like a big thing that was a massive factor here. Just DRG looked drilled. They looked put together. They knew what needed to happen. They were fighting into absolutely everything. And Vukashu showed up. We spoke about the man of the moment and started from round 1 and only ended by when the game was 26 rounds deep. So.
If Rare Atom rated their current cohesion as a team at an 8 out of 10, what do we think DRG was at for this map? Like a 9.5? That's where I'm at.
I think I would agree. I think there's always room for more,
for
to be more
improvement.
critical.
I completely agree.
Not even to be more critical.
I think that, to me, I look at some just pot shot mistakes here and there. And I think I look at like, okay, DRG made that one round they overfought when they had a perfect crossfire setup, and we'll see if that's what happens.
找到两个，我出不来，我这里。我们应该打小道吗？还有一个，右边，我有烟。CT 腰门，我补烟的。CT 会出。40走。下里，算了。烟后面。左边可能会有这个，要清他吗？左边有电。没出。我推腰部了。小心屁股啊，屁股没关系。别放。下分了看。咱屁股扶心。我的先站 CT。好。你要看就好。扶心看屁股了。CT。电。那边这个是要不来他的。完赌。右下吗？换你。右下。有。发起。来，蹦。 被黑了，快点。等会儿位置吗？给我位置，给我位置。Maybe market, maybe market.
Oh yeah,
Side of
he's
DRG?
back.
Yeah, DRG showed up today. I think we can confidently say Vukashi and DRG showed up. Completely different side to the side from yesterday. 100% KAST and 349 ACS crowns Vukashi
Wow.
as your man of the map. So
He kept
Yeah.
up from half one too. Had it at the 100 at the half, ends the map with half, and I mean from 67 ACS yesterday on Lotus to this is. It shows what happens when you have an off day and people start to doubt you. Even Mini, we rated Mini after the stream yesterday. It was like, oof, Vukashu having an off day, my man. Like, because he went to look at the VLR, page. So again, he's back. He's ready. He wants to make that lower run for his team and proved it every step of the way, attack and the few rounds that he had on defense.
I think the scary thing is you always look at the champs run and you know that
He wasn't there.
he wasn't there exactly, and then you look at the potentiality when he actually is there, and you sit there and you're like,
What could have been?
why?
What
What
could
could
have
have been? What could have happened? But
23 and
definitely looking to
5.
stake his claim. Definitely looking to take his claim. Might want to get back to tier 1 next year. So DRG definitely making a really good effort at it. But very, very good shooting. Bond is like a big thing. Yeah, there's not much to say. I don't think this is one of the situations where if ODG did anything wrong, then we could critique it. But it's just DRG did everything right. That's I think. Yeah, they just did everything correct. Oh my god.
Yeah, like ODG had some really creative ideas, some really creative plays on that map, and I think the biggest thing to point out there is, I mean, like 10 versus 6, so maybe there was more they could have done because they had really strong openings and there were some issues closing rounds. But yeah, let's say that 89% post plant may have just been upped a touch with that. We'll have to see, check in with it later, but all in all, super impressive map out of them. I think we said it was a day of 13 threes on Sunset, apparently, after what we saw from our first series of the day. But hey, that's any indication. Remember, our map 2 in the first series was a lot closer, and we have Abyss up next, where once again, it's like we're going from one side where you expose someone's weakness to hopefully exposing the other team's weakness. A map that DRG has not played on their Ascension run in Abyss.
Welcome back everyone to a series that's currently very DRG dominated, a day full of 13 threes and new teams, new personalities, and different form as we get into map 2 of this lower bracket run. This is Project Horizon VCT Ascension, and I'm once again Wriggle. I'm joined today by Zobby, and we're watching DRG, who just 13-3'd on Sunset, a map that they came into relatively cold with a couple of unknown stuff. And there's the man at the moment, Vukashu, who led the charge. I think he had 100% KAST and 330 plus or 330 circa ACS. So we're going to Abyss. Abyss is one of the unknown variables for DRG. They might get exposed here. There's a couple of the narratives that are currently going on, but yeah, there's a couple of things to talk about here.
There's so many ways DRG could go on this map. I'm hoping maybe, I feel like I haven't seen a good double duelist recently on the map. I feel like we've been leaning towards just like other alternatives like the double initiator at times, but I could see this team cook with it. I also feel like we could see the Aquaman even Clove. I think on that map, to me, Clove is so awkward because the smoke positions can be so constraining. Like if you're Clove, like it takes so long to get across to smoke the opposite site. So I don't think we've really seen we never really see Astral on this side though either from DRG, so that doesn't seem like it'd work out. So yeah, thank you DRG delivering the Waylay Aquaman. All right, honestly, okay, he played a lot of this and then suddenly just disappeared like right after Waylay's release, and they no longer played it anymore. So I'm actually excited to see him get back into this, and I think it's gonna go really nicely against Spirit Z1's Yoru, and everything else looks pretty much like stock standard for like the strengths of this team.
Yeah, we're seeing what the DRX, I'll call it the DRX comp, you know, the Sense comp with the Cypher complement for the ODG, and this is a hybrid of like the more NA style of playing the game. So we have the double duel, and then we have, I would like describe as like the Jorgamo Yoru plus the current modder, the energy modder Waylay. So we're gonna see how it functions. I don't think you really see Yoru and Waylay together on this map. For different reasons, but I think with the aspects of double initiator there, having more initiation or like actually entry util could find a lot of value here. As we kick off and B's gonna be our starting point here. Well, never mind, we're gonna shift away because we're scared of the cannon knife. As we do take 2, B's gonna be our starting point. Is they're breaking this mid door. This is actually massively meta right now. So the idea is you break the mid door to threaten an A hit. You can see ODG is
much. Look
very
at what
paranoid
DYH is.
Yep,
Oh my goodness.
Crazy first blood from Spirit Z1.
Oh my goodness. All right,
Yeah,
call me impressed already. This is a map we have not seen from him. That is just a gorgeous set play. Like, again, you take huge risks by picking in maps teams haven't played, hoping that it trips them up, hoping that your reps will supersede their preparation. And if this pistol has displayed anything, it's that DRG is ready. Oh my goodness, it's about to be a flawless. Come on, White. No.
Yeah, flawless pistol. Coming off of a 13-3 into a flawless pistol, that's confidence, that's form. Okay, you're impressed. Talk me through why. Talk me through what you saw. Talk me through what
like,
is so integral about that.
I think they're really fortunate. I think that that Spirit Z1 found an opening kill. I will say on the jet, but it was just the coordination between the paranoia, so there wasn't any tradability out of heaven, with the up and over bookcase dash from the Waylay, and all of that like congregating as well with the Cypher flank that's brewing outside of mid. Like it was just really clean, and I'd say really hard to track and handle if you're not expecting it. And ODG, if they just like cannot like get like with this tempo that DRG is about to set yet again on another B exec, we could have a similar dominance, I think, on this map.
And it seems like they're favoring this B side. I think they're fully disrespecting the Cypher trips because of the Yoru. They don't necessarily have to fear what is behind those smokes or accidentally running to a trip. They can just clear it out. But they are reticent of the numbers. I think that's where the big concern is. They don't know how many people are behind said smoke. So re-clear B, setting up Fukashi once again on the Outlaw. See if you can catch anyone rotating over from A to assist that B hold, but no one's biting. However, A side's wide open, and no real way to contest this, to slow them down as they come to the hit.
Okay. You're like this. ODG. Not really giving any forward fights over to Dragon Ranger Gaming for the time being. A little A regroup just shy of the 0 point. So YH, they may be in for a rude awakening here, or they might have just got proper timing on that drone. Nope, it's the Waylay. Light speed past it, and as a result can just 180 on the fly, has support from the rest of the team, and it is going to be another flawless site take. And yeah, the few remaining players taking the easy way out on Abyss. Off the map they go. It will be a Dragon Raider second. Flawless in a row.
Yeah, you don't want to give them those ult orbs, especially when DRG's this hot. The odds of winning those fights, I think they would have chanced it. They would have chanced it had they KO got that kill. Had YH gotten that kill on the edge of the smoke or inside of the smoke, they might have taken a gamble at it, but they'd lost too much space too quickly, and they didn't have the numbers or util to deal with it. So,
hey, first round Dragon Raider Gaming leaning heavy towards A, at least off the rip. Right, last round it was more of a late pivot. Curious to see how YH looks. Yeah, I was gonna say on the aggressive. I feel like it's typical to try and fight aggressive A. So having the Cypher and Jet paired up towards B is so peculiar. Out of octagonal disposition. Well, looks like maybe they have something working for them, because the KO single-handedly does spook them away for the time being. They like their util, and Xiaoyu has other plans. Actually get aggressive, offensive, finds one, now rerouting over towards this mid-event alongside Eden as well. And now the Sentinel down, that could have an opening towards this B side, but Xiaoyu on a pivot, getting this Jet pick that we've praised on other maps. Coming in clutch for the time being, but might pose an opening here. 2v3 now. Nice weapons in hand for these two players, and it does hurt they had to go back to get the gun, because now there's going to be some suppression util for this plant. Yeah. No challenge? Respect for the plant? Really? Whoa.
Oh, the blind.
Paranoia's teammate.
Yeah, friendly blind and Paranoia catches him, and the flashpoint pops as YH is gonna fall, but traded out almost immediately as Vukushu missed that shot, and also I think the round basically blew up as Ayu just got 2 kills. So yeah,
I'll just say I don't think they would have let him live it down, the paranoia, the missed paranoia, if he had not clutched up that round. So glad to see that did come through. Aside from that, I mean, it's great to see them get some footing. I liked the idea from Xiaoyu going searching. I don't know how I felt about Eden also committing to that, because Xiaoyu's pathing was great. Caught off Vukushu as well, was able to still fight for main control at event, but I did also like the patience from ODG in that regard. And here we go, right back into the action. Ooh, nice hinder. Nice A fight there. Lucky to be alive. And look again, they have deep A control. They're looking for it at least.
That's the first one. Yeah, I was gonna have to completely dash out of there. You don't really want to challenge the guy who just killed your friend, because momentum is a very cruel mistress, and she doesn't choose favorites here. I think a big thing to look at is we spoke about the DRX comp and how it has similarities to the Ascent comp, and it's almost verbatim. Now that I look at it, it's almost verbatim the way he actually set up on it. So it's very familiar play patterns, even though it's a completely different map. You see that KO, you see that Omen, you kind of expect all the utils to be layered on top of each other. And on the weak side of the map, you have that Cypher being backed up by either Jet or Sova. Which is actually like an interesting observation. So that's why there are a lot of the teams that are really good at Ascent, like DRG, are finding a lot of success on this, because they're playing for the very familiar tempo. Zayu's gonna find one on Costream C1. Yeah, completely falls him as he's trying to go for the aggressive trade. They're still on an eco, so gun's not the most favorable. That outlaw might as well be an operator. Vukushu finds one mid. That's the smoke's gone. There's nothing to obscure sight lines, as Nick's gonna capitalize on the fact that there's no space. Vukushu still posted up mid, being a thorn in ODG's side. Spots YH and closes out the round. 1-3 in favor of DRG, and very similar scoreline and very similar opening to map 2 is similar to 1.
I mean, I liked the rhythmic kind of ego challenges there from Xiaoyu, but ultimately the rebounds just did not work out after that fact, after they got those openers, and as the rest of the players splintered, easy pickings for the better weapons, and Again, it feels like no player is ever unsupported right now on the side of DRG. Even in these kind of off-angle positions, it's looking very, very well versed. Again, it's a map that they, you know, aren't insta-banning for a reason, and that's what we're going to see on full display. Now, entering some of the first ult cycles as well. We'll get to see those in full swing here. Really just to complicate and put additional wrinkles, right, into this B exec, right? Now you have to worry about behind and in front of you.
We're seeing now why this is getting reworked. Just because there's no way to hold it. There's no way to hold B.
But like they're not even playing, but they're not even playing like offside spray angles. They're so deep into the side it doesn't matter, right? Like I feel like even with the reworks, this is how they would be playing it. Like other than Bukashu being like obviously really vent centric.
Oh, Aaron.
Yeah,
that's
this
a
is
statement
nice.
of intent. Yeah, that's a statement of intent from Aaron. He just robs 2 people, drops 2 Vandals, but his entire team is very low. Winner's 1 HP and so is Zayu. Aaron's the only person. Eyes on Aaron potentially to do some really big plays, but there's not enough time. Gonna have to try and get very proactive right now, but it's too little, it's too late, and the gap is getting way too big to actually be a reasonable mount or reasonable comeback here, as money is thriving for the side of DRG. Very confident to just take those losses in terms of guns, because you can't just rebound to the next ones.
Okay. I mean, they try their best to fight. Again, they dismantled some of that forward aggression that came out of Dimensional Drift. Came out of Bukashu, and it's really all they had, because ooh, I mean, the A main challenge doesn't work. Waylay, whew. They just do a little bit too much damage. That kind of gave it a little bit of flashbacks, right, to the overfighting that we saw into CT on Boba, if you remember from Sunset. But that round also was run by Dragon Ranger Gaming. So, all right, first time out for ODG. Like you mentioned, very clockwork, very familiar to what we saw over on Sunset. What switch up do you want to see this time around?
We need to be fighting B, but the problem is you can't fight B site. I think they're over-indexing onto that A hit based off the one round that happened, and as a result of not fighting B, you have to take that really awkward rotates, right? It's like Vukash is playing in that connector and just holding you mid. If you cross mid, you're gonna die because Vukash is gonna see you. You go through spawn, it's too late because they might be in your CT already because we're not holding B. So I think they need to index into like flipping the sides in which they fight. Obviously, you can't set up Cypher on A. He's just gonna have his stuff broken, but potentially an op. I think Zayu is 0 for 5 in terms of op buys since this series. So op is the way, I think, to dissuade some of that A main rush without spending so much util and actually having the KO on the right side of the map for the hits.
I was gonna say I still feel like Aaron's such a good side anchor. I hate them stacking both of their top fragged like demon players on the same site. Like I am not going to lie, and so no, like a big part of me really wants the Jet over towards A. I want like one of the initiators right over towards this B side. The Sova, the KO, right? Because KO is like a duelist in himself. He can hold his own over towards the A site, but this round the exception. Again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Re-rinse, repeat, refight B. No, Xiaoyu!
No.
Great opener, but that is all as you drift off into the sunset. Oh, it's not! The Blade Storm from below popped in a final farewell attempt. Finds one looking for a second flex and realizing, okay, let's not teeter over the edge. There's a threat that lies even in the abyss. Okay, we're waiting for that to pop up on the kill feed, and in the meantime, all right. Here they go. They're still going.
We're gonna end the round and you'll still be falling.
If he found another on deflection, I would have had it. I would have been done. And I'm sorry, but if they somehow win this round in the 3v2, it's because of Xiaoyu.
Yeah, the emotional damage is done. Now we have to do the more tangible damage. Oh, he looks the wrong way. Paranoia is gonna pop. He doesn't get caught. He doesn't get caught by the paranoia, but the Bucky right in front of him, and the Bucky's ringing loud. And 1v3, 1v2 now. Phantom in hand. 1v1. Flexing. And the 1v1 clutch TP's out. Spike is planted for him. 8 bullets in gun, but he doesn't need all of them. There's a Bucky upgrade on the side of YH. There's no gun. Yeah, calm, cool, compose, and he just swings through. And oh, Xiaoyu, my heart breaks as he dashed. He tripped so far and fell off the. Oh, he dashed too far, fell off the map, and couldn't updraft. He had no updraft when the round started.
The Blade Storm was so good. It's so creative. Look at that. That was amazing. Cause you're accurate, right? With the blades, that's the whole thing with the jet. Like while you're like in the passive, you drift. Like that is just so entertaining. Even he's like, wow, I can't believe I thought of that. Oh, that's frustrating. And we're once again sitting at a 5-1. Once again, DRG has dodged the momentum timeout shift. Money, broken, battered, double shotgun. Xiao Yu, see what you can do with it off. Give us it to us with the Marshall. Oh, they're not even letting him do that. Oppressive util. Keep him at bay. Force him off the angle.
But similar setup. Similar
why on the
setup,
eco? No, why on the eco do they finally have like a switched up jet position? Finally, they split up the initiators. That hurts.
That's true, actually. Yeah,
do it on the
actually
buy.
true.
Do it on the buy round, please.
It's an A hit, it looks like. Yeah, it looks like they're gearing up for some kind of A hit, yeah? They have the Judge reinvestment. Do they have Vandals last round? Why did Flexen have a Bucky? Why does Vexen have a Bucky again? Why is there a Bucky and a Judge on A side?
It's a choice.
It is a choice, but the site's way too open. The site's way too open, and a lot of the util is just going to clear out all of this. But never mind, that smoke potentially going to add as, yeah, balls are going to ring as first kill's going to fall. Aqua's going to get another one, and both the shotguns are going to fall on site. Spam's going to come through to try to flush this out entirely. Vugashu still rocking the Outlaw. Upgrades to a Vandal. North F pops, gives him position and proximity as Aquan. Looking to capitalize off this new information. Finds one. And Aaron, in a really difficult position. In a 1v5, in a 1v4 retake, looking into the maw of DRG. The dragon is angry. The dragon is raging, and it's unfortunately ODG in the part of this is making a statement of intent. Yeah,
leaving destruction in its wake, and I would hate for after how close, right, the matches were yesterday, for them both to be this one-sided today. Like we see what they're like at their best, and especially like obviously we saw Eddie Gaming put up a fight, and that one was an elimination, right? This is elimination, season end for Octagonal Disposition Gaming on the line, and I said it was a big risk, and I even said that I feel like this was gonna happen just because it was a bit second, not first, that we could see DRG snowball the momentum from their pick, and I just didn't wish it was gonna come true. I mean, again, leaning into what works, again, not having to maybe switch anything up. Here we go once again.
Xayah with the operator.
Doesn't matter if you're hindered, gotta get out of the way.
Yeah, 10.5, can Xayah find value here? That's the big question. Can Xayah find value with this operator?
It's possible. They took back sight.
Aaron on site. Oh, Aaron in a Venn diagram of smokes. Xayah's gonna find the first one, and oh, Xayah's actually gonna find a kill here as well. Is Aaron dancing? Just somehow maneuvered his way into back sight as the round just collapses around the side of DRG, spinning that ulti, and 1 for 5. Actually, Xayah actually managed to find some kind of value here and actually weathers the storm, and better hold. I think it's a better hold from them. Opposed to what they were doing before, they just give up the entirety of sight. They're just staying on site. They're fighting, holding behind your smokes, and just challenging anybody who's taking very expedited paths to spawn. So like diving into backside. So very good look from ODG. A lot better of a B-side hold from ODG. Yeah. But however, we're gonna regress back into bad habits and play this heavy retake B-side. Let's see if they can find purchase on this.
Well, yeah, it's heavy retake style, but that's kind of like what it was in the previous round, right? I feel like because the Jet is top mid and they can get back to bookshelf fast enough, and we saw like the rescaling in from Aaron off his cage as well. Yeah, there was some complicated smoke, so some questionable, I think that was challenges, but all in all, this is just to try and circumvent, yeah, that double duelist dive, so you don't lose a player in the chaos. You have a proactive cam too from the Cypher, so again, all this is set up so they can have that, okay. As long as we make contact, we re-rotate back to set up for this B flood. But in the meantime, I don't know how I felt about that drone, especially when you have a deep line. Like, it doesn't really add much. So in the meantime, Aaron's trying to find answers elsewhere on the map. Vugashu on the other side. Camera could miss him. Oh, just barely. Okay.
And it's the ciphers, as the B site is where the actual action is happening, but Vugashu can't peek into this. There's an up holding you. There's an up holding you, Vugashu. I think he saw that earlier, and the Cypher's gonna break it. Yeah, no idea, but yeah, spike's going down. Xayah looking to get more value out of this operator. Nakman looking to play spoiler here.
What do we have for this? We have a cam. That's great, so Achman can't get an aggressive angle, but this is what I liked as well. It's multi-angled, right? The retake on the flank from Aaron, and they had a double heaven hold in the meantime. Oh, you realize, yeah, they're playing this Hunter's Fury. You've got to get it off the table. This hinges on Aaron, while the rest of his team is trying to make headway on this site out of heaven in the form of Xiao Yu. But look, Xiao Yu is even getting wrapped heaven from Achman, but he handles that too. 3 kills on the round. Aaron is taking care of the Sova, and the final crunch comes through, dismantled piece by piece until no system of Dragon Ranger gaming remained.
How do you actually salvage this? Because now that the op is online, you've lost your one major win con, which is that Cypher Outlaw mid, right? Like when Vukashu was holding mid with the Outlaw and just killing people coming from that A to B rotate, you're finding a lot more structure. You're finding like a lot more value there. But now that we've lost that mid control, you have to just funnel it through the mains. But the problem is just going through the main isn't as strong as if you have some kind of late reader. So eyes are going to be on Vukashu. Can he navigate this proverbial web that is that mid area? Secure more secure sites than most spots. So White's going to scan for. And how do they work from this? I think they're just going to stay out. It's going to be a bit of a pause here. Vukashu has a lot of space. I was on Vukashu and Vince.
This is so interesting too. Just the fact that, I mean, I like the Ved position because like you mentioned, they've been just like Pavlov conditioning, right? The fact that they've been breaking Veds, so you don't know if they're there. You have to re-clear it, possibly even with an owl drone. But that's not going to go deep enough, and now they've broken through together thanks to the light speed. And now Hunter Fury is to flush out the KO, set up the aggression over the top from Spirit Z1, who somehow finds it and is still there. I've been questioning they don't have the Sova deep in heaven, right? Recon out of heaven is so powerful to spray it in an eye. Maybe that is why the dive is so good. Now the trades are so good as well from Dragon Ranger Gaming. The 2v2. Xiao Yu put up the numbers last round, but now with the operator in hand, it's harder to navigate. Yeah, I like this bait.
Out of here. Yeah, they have to drop out of here.
Vukashu baits this. If they had both gone heaven, would have been perfect.
2v2.
They're waiting for an overfight.
Waiting for anything, frankly. Oh, Vukashu gonna get found by Aaron.
Wait, I love this. He's waiting for Xiao Yu to scale. Oh, the timing.
Flexing challenges. Flexing and Zayu comes out victorious. These post spawns are what, 89%, 90% post spawn success rate for DRG. That's whittling down. They're getting the spike down, but it seems like ODG has their number read. So.
Wow. I mean, they handled the aggressive entry style there. Get the refrags here, thanks to really Zixuan. I mean, that was really nice to flip it back after Spirit Z1 got those entries. And Xiao Yu is just on a heater right now from the previous 3K clutch to that moment there. Like you mentioned, some of these posts are kind of falling apart a little bit. So I do think this is a great momentum stopper timeout as well. I will say it's very familiar if you remember the 6-4 timeout that was I think it was the second timeout though that was taken on the Ascent comeback attempt, and that's where things got dicey on the second half out of Rare Atom. But do you think we get a 6-6 half? What do you think we end on?
Potentially. I think ODG is ramping up in all the right places. Their gunfights are significantly better because they're choosing better ones for themselves, and fundamentally I think they're not dying for the side takes. I think it was fine when they're playing 5v5 post spawn, but they're actually just getting those kills initially when peeling off into the CT. So I think they have everything in their power to get it to 6. But there's a big adjustment. This is all historical. There's a big adjustment that's probably going to happen in server to potentially change that and potentially help DRG pull and pad their leads slightly more as they go to that defense.
Yeah. I mean, few things to note: Flexen, Spirit Z1, not having the same performance of map 1 for Flexen and Spirit Z1 just in general. Achman's really been carrying a lot of that entry force, it feels like. Vukashu as well, and the lurks have been really effective for first blooding. Outside of that, I do think, yeah, I feel like the ults could definitely kickstart this system. Saw it previously set up a really nice deep B hold. Looks like that's kind of what they're trying to replicate here this time. Instead of running it down mid, it was just right up the gut on site. And speaking of right up the gut, an insane shot from Xiao Yu. And again, they're playing this detached right defense on the B side, and it's been looking really, really clean thus far since they took their timeout.
Yeah, and it's a 5v4 retake for the first time I think this half. Is Eyes on Spirity 1 looking to get the first couple of shots, all warning shots, but these ones land as Aaron's going to trade it out immediately. Really good recon. Spam's going to come through that box. Wallbangs doesn't get a kill though, and through the smoke is godlike, and both of them have their right idea. Yeah, jump on top side. Elevation is now a part. Elevation's now factors. Flexen's going to find 2 kills here. Looking for the first. Vukushu assists. It's Flexen in a really precarious and tricky spot as Aaron in the 1v2. Gonna find Flexen. 1v2, Spike's ticking away, and Vukushu gonna close it out. Great opener from Zayu, but they just couldn't get it there. The hilarity of both Omens opting for the double TP onto top site is literally the most Omen brain thing I've ever seen. So
I think Flexen came away with that a little bit better for his efforts. Vukushu, really nice neural theft as well, just to keep his bearings in that 1v1 off the second ping. So DRG again, like we mentioned, it was more of a dampener. That's what the timeout was for. Getting some resyncs off of how they want to play the post plants there just a little bit. So that's good. Again,
this Zayu knives.
We're back to this again, kind of like Cypher Jet, that I'm still not quite sold on the defensive hold here. I want to see Xiao Yu though. Okay, not falling off the map, please. That one made my heart sink a little bit. Here we go. No more updraft, but they are in safe territory now, backside, and they have Aaron to play around to bounce off of. And this time they said, we are not playing retake. We are living on the site. We are dying on the site. And Vandal passed off little baton, relay style, and a beautiful flash comes in through the KO as well. YH setting up the duelist for success. And there it is. Shouldn't drift off the map as long as you hold space while you're celebrating with your team in time. And just like that, the 7-5 half. A lot better than a 10-2.
What a flash. Completely blindsided literally everybody. I need to see this flash from KS POV. That's crazy. That is an insane flash. And I think the big switch up here is that they weren't playing retake. They were playing just fight for sight, and they have the util. That's the benefit of playing that double initiator comp, especially that double initiator sort of Ascent style classic.
That's the first time the KO rotated that early too. Like he was, I think he was like never be like, even on one of the ecos, maybe it was Sova that was there. So maybe a switch up that could have come a little bit earlier. Maybe could have given us an advantageous or equal half. But still, this is a really good position to be in. And now all I kind of want to ask for them is to win the next pistol. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, like they won the pistol on Sunset. It was just the second round runaway game for Dragon Ranger Gaming. So we know they're capable of it. And we'll see if that can come true after halftime.
How are they going to actually work around this is the real question, I think. With the double initiator.
What is this? The double initiator, okay.
Yeah, the double initiator on the attack side. Because on Ascent, traditionally it's been like through mid. You like punch the gut through mid. Abyss isn't Ascent. There's no multiple lanes and multiple options that you have besides breaking that mid door. So how are they going to actually navigate through all of that weirdness? And Zayu's on track for 381 ACS is absolutely insane. Was relatively quiet in the previous map, but statement of intent here. I think the first map was 13-3. They've added 2 rounds onto that, a more potent attack side, and DRG caught slightly on the back foot here. We spoke about DRG's map pool being exposed, and the attack side got exposed a bit here, even though they came out slightly more favorable, but they can't live off the gas here. A pistol plus a bonus is a tie game for them.
Well, let's get back into the server, get back into the action. Again, a defining pistol to see if we will have, in fact, a close matchup here to kick things off. You said they can't just punch it up the gut mid. Well, Dragon Ranger Gaming says, watch this. There are 4 players here, and I like that the Omen is the 1A main. I was gonna say, as long as the util doesn't get stripped away, they can paranoia and get out of there. Now they have to do it the old-fashioned way, knife out or run away, and just trusting their team to get on this flank, right? It's an eco. With the pistol not having full util, they might not have a trip on the flank, and that's exactly the case. And nobody's even still main holding down the line here. They're flipping the site, maybe just, like, there's no reason for them to. There's no indication of it except for maybe the ghost town that A site was, and somehow they might have just circumvented this entire play from Dragon Ranger Gaming. Tap the cam, do it. Come on.
Oh, they're not.
Oh.
It's 4 people through. The roles are completely swapped. It's Flexen. Oh, Flexen is dancing CT. It's 2 people drop, 3 people drop. It's now favored to ODG here, and ODG gonna come away with it. It's a novel idea. That run down mid is a very novel idea. However, if you're running down mid, you have to hope that your sight hold can actually hold, and that suppress caught Flexen, and he had no smokes to actually slow down anything.
Okay, that was fine. I'm not too worried about that. Did Aaron not tap his cam main once? I'm pretty sure. And somehow just they still flipped the site. And honestly, I think if anybody saved that round, it's Zixuan. Off camera, in that smoke, gets 2 right classic kills. While if you look at it, right, DRG had full control of that site space. Like the last remaining players, like outside of Zixuan, were in security, like deep fighting around that secret position. So very, very dangerous round, but it still goes the way of the ODG, which is huge, like we said, for setting the tone here, right? Should be an effective way to turn this ship around, set themselves up for a tied game, perhaps more, and try to bring Lotus into the peripheral.
Setting up a pretty standard 1-3 or 1-2, or sorry, 0-3-2 for the side of ODG here. Just sort of feeling out the mid of the map and feeling out the A side of the map. They might have the wrong read based off of the information that they had, gambling towards this A side, where DRG is waiting. With open arms, it looks like a trap play. This looks very trap play, Jason. Do you see that Nick holding shocked or holding recon dot? All the CT. Spiritsy 1 playing backside has flash, or has clone potentially to play around with. And Flexen has smoke prepared based off any kind of contact. There goes the smoke, the right clicks rang true.
Not like this. I know I brought up that they won the pistol on Sunset and then lost the second round 38. I didn't mean for you guys to do it again. Ackman, this map has just been on another level. Like, wow. And then the refract out after the fact that you've gotten 2 as well. And then they go back in. Wow. Super, super effective. And it just disrupts that entire kind of comeback arc. Here's Z1, supported as well, so they can stay around and still get out. It's the reason why this is called a mosquito comp, right? Both players just got like impacted and then TP'd away, unscathed, unpunished. And as a result, now it's DRG, a firm lead over this round. One player that could make a difference here, Aaron, but I think I saw a little cage and now they know that he's lurking here. Quick cleanup, little bow tied. And in the meantime, ooh, here over towards A. It's just cleanup crew. Oh.
The Zixuan's classic is terrifying. It's very scary.
Face their fears,
he's got a kill from all 3 different ranges. He's got one from point blank, from close range, from medium, and almost long range as well. So scary, scary classic, and that's without guns. But the big thing is, yeah, like you mentioned, that mosquito comp. That
look at that.
We could index into a lot of the space, and then we just leave.
And you were like, oh, the KO, the double initiator is gonna overwhelm that. They just broke the knife. They just didn't care.
Yeah, shot the knife. Facts don't care about your feelings. Yeah.
Nope.
We just leave. So.
The dragon does not care. Speaking of the dragon does not care, Ackman. He dashes down mid. Like what?
And he controls Spike, I think.
I don't think they know the Spike's there yet. I don't think it's out of sightlines. Yeah. But this is a nasty angle. It's like he does know it's there, even though he's never seen it, right? Oh, he inadvertently would have had the perfect angle. Oh. Okay.
They can claim. They can reset. The ODG can pick up the spike in spawn. It wasn't a major loss besides losing your Cypher, so flank threats are a problem as Zayu's.
This is a nice fake. Wait.
Gotta find the first kill here. He needs to die or it's gonna be very, very complicated. He's 1 HP, still heart pumping through his veins. As it is going to be a B hit
this as well, right? The Cypher playing away from his setup too, right? So you're not going to expect a stack around the double duelists here, and also the KO knife's not going to mean anything. They still have these to play off of. I even like the anti-jet strip here as well. There's a lot to play around here as long as you can stay alive. And Ackman around bookcase, hindering. Conversion path is online. He is doing everything, just trying to hold down the fort while the reinforcements come through. Wallbang connects. Nick, Vukashu now here as well. Dart back in 5. two players just letting Zishuan front the bill for the time being, and now they are demanding payment.
Oh, Zayu's gonna fall here, and Waishen is gonna fall as well, and it was close. That was actually really inspired from Zayu, actually walking up A main, and he just didn't die, became that thorn in the side, but eyes on Ackman. Like the reactivity to know that after getting that first kill, popping that converging pot instantaneously after getting this first blood means that like they can't rush through sight because there's a converging pot. You walk to try and get the plant, get into better positions, and you're just letting the defenders get back on the angle. So
yeah, this
very
round to me that was just pure evidence that DRG prepped for ODG's Abyss specifically, right? From the Jet dash trip, right, to obviously didn't get triggered, to just the Cypher playing away from the KO as well. And even we've seen some of the, again, the Mosquito comp up against the KO, like it's looked so clean. And that round, yeah, was a big one, right? Money's gonna be down again. It should be a DRG 11th. And so ODG, no room, no margin for error anymore. Lest you play for 6-ish rounds, 5-ish rounds for overtime in a row. And that's just to push it to a map 3, right? To avoid elimination here in the lowers. End your season. And this is interesting because like map 1, right? We had different players step up. Vukushu, obviously, we mentioned the 100% cast, and Ackman, honestly, having I said it. I said I hyped at the Waylay. The return. Yeah. It's like the return of the Waylay, and honestly, I want to see Waylay on more maps after this from him.
Oh, for sure. I think in the same way that I prefer Simon on roles that aren't the duelist, Ackman on roles that are duelist, or Ackman on roles on other roles besides duelist is a bit grief because of how.
Like the Neon was okay. The Waylay is insane right now.
The Waylay, yeah, the Waylay and the Neon are really good. I think the Clove struggles when you know the potentialities. You have a Waylay, you have a Neon that's this strong, and I caster curse that. I take full accountability. I am so sorry. As the side of DRG is going to clean up a bit. Yes, Flexen. Going to get 2 kills in the smoke and
this makes
massive
it feasible.
guns upgrades. Yeah, Vukushu and Nick have to do a lot of stuff though.
Vukushu especially alive, right? And now you have the infel, hopefully off the drone. One player swinged. Zishuan. They're not even. I love that they didn't tunnel vision on the revealed player. Vukushu gets both. Sets Nick now up for the 1v1. YH has the timing on the backside. Wrap the pre-fire though exposes his position. Nick on bridge tracks him to a T, and just like that, it will be another Dragon Ranger Gaming round.
I need to see the double kill from Vukushu. I need to see that double kill because that is insane. That is actually insane.
That was good, man, too.
Wrench that from the jaws of the feet there. Oh, Flexon was like with a crazy spray actually. He almost found the third as well. Hit the 40.
Wow. Super impressive from that's what I said. Vukushu's still alive at 2v3. Light work. But 11-6 right now. I mean, having money here, I think is gracious. I'll say for ODG. It makes it dangerous though as well because they lose this round. They're not gonna have money going into the 12th for Dragon Ranger Gaming. So this is very Last Stand-esque nature. This is interesting as well that DRG, after the insane counter that just popped up, wasn't able to stop DRG from fighting again. Like they weren't scared away from repeating their mistakes. But like, oh, that was a one-time thing. Aaron's not gonna hit those shots again. In the meantime, I'm not quite sure what ODG was expecting here towards the B site. It was very like anti-aggression, expecting someone down mid, some down main. And all that is going to come down main will be this drone, as they have a fair exchange of information.
Okay, Malcolmon's gonna be committed, yeah. Paranoia as well. Very explosive sight hit, and I think Cypher got caught in. Yeah, Cypher for sure got caught in that first pulse. Yuto went completely offline, and first 5v5 retake of this entire game. What abilities do we have in pocket besides own Paranoia? No ultis for the side of DRG. Just gonna have to be relying on Gun's experience and grit alone. As Paranoia's gonna come through, blinds all the backside, disguises the double TP from Waylay. Spiritsy1 and he's gonna get 3 kills. Ackman and Spiritsy1, the double duelist combo, gonna eat them up alive on the choke. That was a crazy bit of micro. Throwing the Paranoia from B-Link. Catches 4 people.
They just make it look so easy. I just need to see the replay because that was a really smart cloud burst, right? You're expecting maybe the jet, but there's 2 in there, and they get the first really smoothly, but the second refrags, and just again that swift communication. Achman on the dive as well. Oh, the cage! And the high-low around the cage too, which kind of segmented the players that were remaining on the ODG side. And I think that was a that's a DRG cage too. So because the KO util took the cage offline early, they instead converted into a retake angle. That's absurd.
That's insane. That's an insane retake.
Reuse, reduce, recycle.
Yeah.
In full swing. And now, like I said, money tight. Having to lean into an aggro hit off this Hunter Scary and the Blade Storm. Here we go, Vukushu. What can you do? Great cam.
Spots
Trying
fall.
to go for the
That's
wall bangs
bingo.
angles. Ooh. Oh.
And Zayu dies. Zayu drops. Zayu drops, and Spirity 1 is also really low. Because each one is also extremely low, 50 HP. But they have a lot of space. Vukushu, target-rich environment, looking for the first one, and YH eats them alive. Each one offering assistance as well in that regard. Eyes on Ackman, looking for the first one, doesn't get it. Winner gets the better of him, and Nick can't close it out. It's insane round, actually a really crazy effort from YH. I think he got a spray transfer while coming out of blind when they're coming for the CT players coming out of B-Link.
Well, we'll get some light on how ODG made that a success, but am I also wrong to think that I wish there was more reaction or movement off of the Sovolt? I think it was more, I think, for just spike plant denial, it felt like, but still, it didn't feel like any players were in position to punish them, you know, getting exposed in the backside angle, getting it froze to the front side angle. So maybe again, there's that sense of closer syndrome is what I call it, where like you just want to get done with the map, and so you get a bit antsy, but time being, finally the KO util connects, but Achman staying in the fight is probably the better for it, right? Flexing, little ping pong action there as well from front side, and now they had the stack. They thought they could overwhelm Achman, but this is Achman. 2 kills found, and now that they are enraged by the converging path, they're just gonna go all the way in. Speaking of going all the way in, Spiritsy 1 off the map, the short chip damage, confirmation of the angle corner, and they lead it to their team to close it out, to punch there to get to a lower final rematch versus Any Gaming, and in so will eliminate octagonal disposition gaming from VCT Ascension. No hopes at franchising this year.
I think despite everything, there'll be time to talk about DRG, and I think everyone's been talking about DRG the entire year through. The gap to tier 1 is sometimes bigger than the gap to get into tier 2, right? And you're seeing it now, especially with how drilled DRG was on a map that they've never played, at least in officials. We don't know what's happening behind the scenes. I think this is, in many ways, shapes and forms, the reason to hold your head up high. I think there's a lot of players that, if you find them on more experienced rosters from ODG, these guys could go the distance. A lot of these people could actually go the distance, because they brought it to 7. They brought
This
it to
is
5
definitely the
against
reaping
DRG.
ground for tier 1, yeah, absolutely.
So a lot of these players could definitely be world champions. Hell, Mada and Scuba came from these type of events, from being in tier 2, and I think the region health of CN as a whole still awfully healthy.
I mean,
and
think
this
about
is
how many
entertaining
players from Rare Atom last year ended up on insane teams like No Man, right? Ending up on Shilai Gaming, having an insane performance there with that team, and insane champs showing too, right? And Dragon Rage Gaming, look back, but yeah, for ODG, which players do I want to see? I think my top 2 definitely Aaron. No, I think is a big one for me as a Sentinel. And Xiao Yu, by the way, again, the most recent pickup for ODG, right? I think Defo played in that Chinese Nationals we talked about. Just also an insane player to see, to witness. But yeah, DRG looked like they were having fun. They looked streamlined. They looked proficient. And if 9.5 was their level of team coordination on map 1, this one I think was like a 9.75. Like there were some rounds that fell apart, but just these retakes in particular, just so clean at times. They made it look easy.
Yeah, I think 1000%. This is arguably one of the more entertaining games, barring the grand finals of actual literal champs of a sense I've seen in a while. Just from a micro level, from defensively, DRG's micro and the moments of inspiration we saw from Zayu exclusively on that B side with the rest of the team. Defensively, this map was a masterclass, I think. And you can take a lot of stuff away about how to play the double duelist playbook just from this game. So
yeah, I loved seeing the strengths of DRG converted into an Abyss meta-style composition. and the Waylay was really, really fun to watch. Zhao, I liked the creativity around the jet pick, showing it's still viable on this map as well. But again, there were some rounds that ODG should have won that didn't go their way either, and so again, things to look back on and reflect for the future. Just knowing how to navigate this. This was an insane play from Vukushu as well. Briner was their map 1 MVP with an insane performance, bouncing back up beautifully after the shoddy game on Lotus yesterday against Any Gaming. So showing that they are going to be coming out in a full swing for that matchup for this rematch. But for now, let's see how they made this happen.
喂，架住了！来！换你给我换枪，换你给我换枪。4个包点，哎，别打 ！Ready， go！ 哎，这边右边，1破，快点，3！我在后面啊，你们没放，他没放上。上头在，他们现在想打落下去了。OK 了，可以靠换你。我反黑。我踢倒。看手。我补烟。我要出手。烟里还有一个，全闪。别急，我有剑。左边。
Yeah, Ackman 1000%. I don't think there's an argument. I don't think there's an argument at all. That Ackman is this map's MVP. Arguably, this match's MVP for the entire series. Lights out. The big thing is Ackman came from DRG Academy, mind you. Yeah. The DRG Academy. Ackman and Spirit Z1. So both the Academy players showing up in different regards in the different series, and Vukushu coming back alive, but Ackman for sure was a linchpin at 80% KP or KST this entire half.
Yeah, it definitely felt like, at least on the attack half, so many of these set plays for site takes were around Ackman and that light speed and getting into these uncomfortable positions around bookshelf, which is usually a position that, yeah, the defense can consistently punish off of. And I also mentioned, again, they felt like they were very prepped on ODG as well once they switched over to the defense, like these anti-jet trips, again, playing a little bit anti-KO at times. And again, these retakes were just so streamlined, understand the positions that these players like to play in as well. And I've even gotten into the A side. The anchors there were absurd, and even some of the retakes again off of Vukushu were crazy. So yeah, you argued for Ackman maybe MVP for the series, but I'll probably leave it with Vukushu just for map 1 and map 2. Even they were a consistent threat. Like even it just hindered the rotations out of ODG because you're worried about him mid with an outlaw. Yeah, when you're on your ecos or half buys, like it was just consistent. Just the fear in the back of their minds of him too when he even wasn't there.
Yeah, I think that's a massive one. I don't know if there's an interview. I don't know if there's an interview right now. Yeah, there should be. But yeah, I can argue
until it's ready.
Yeah, I can argue for Vukushu for sure. Especially on that one big round at the end, the 3v2 that he blew open entirely, and he almost won single-handedly with a 40 Vandal body shot that went for 40. And on new patch, on new Vandal spray, on new adaptations, he gets that, which is crazy. The game is at its most difficult right now, and it's only going to get easier in terms of mechanics, and he's pulling off stuff like that. So that's the map. 2-0. 2 has been the status of absolutely everything leading up to the next couple of finals. So
yeah. And I will say, I thought, again, the series 1 of the day that upper finals, I thought it was going to be a little bit more competitive. I don't think we saw the best of any questions by any means, but this is kind of what I was expecting. I think I called 13-7, 13-7, so I think Sunset was a little bit of a surprise, just because, again, they picked into a weaker map, but it was one that I feel like ODG had reps on, so I thought those reps would translate into experience, but ultimately, just the success that DRG was able to find in the group stage on Sunset shined through, and obviously, I mean, Vukushu had something to prove today, like we said after
100%.
After yesterday.
I think we have an interview, so let's go send it to the interview. Let's go hear a bit about how they went about the game.
我们今天邀请到的是弗乐星，先来跟大家打个招呼吧。
Hello， 大家好，我是DRG的弗星。
再次欢迎你，也是再次恭喜今天2比0获得了比赛的胜利嘛。其实今天感觉一上来，整个队伍的状态，包括你的状态就很不一样，因为是背靠背的比赛连续。
Like your form overall, the team form improved so much.
昨天输完比赛回去过后就紧急复了下盘吧，就。
He's like after the game yesterday, we went back to VALORANT review. The coach talked to us a lot. It was like back to back.
大家都习惯了。
就是在这样一种压力下面打比赛，可能会迸发出你们的一些潜能嘛。那再说到今天的比赛，其实我们能看到晋升赛至今，你们给我们展现了非常多不同的打法，我看到每一分的布置感觉都不太一样。那作为队内的指挥，你
But the IGL is like, do you think there's so much pressure on you?
我觉得其实比起游戏内的压力，更多是。
He's like less so the pressure in game, and more so the pressure outside the game.
因为自己没指挥好，就队友让我们输掉比赛，让我们这5个人，就是说不能聚集在一起了。
Every time they lose, there will be like a lot of comments saying, "Oh, like let's not keep this team together." Like that kind of weighs on.
可能这也是你驱使自己能够在后面打得越来越好的一些决心。那再说到我们今天的比赛上面呢，其实能看到今天无论是图1还是图2，都打了非常多的惨局，然后也有很多亮眼的发挥。如果说就是让你给我们大家一些建议，就是给到观众，然后怎么样去预判一下。
So they're asking him to like give some advice, like how do you like play out the cluster situations to the best? And he's like, don't hesitate, just do what you want.
直觉嘛，其实能从你的话里听出来，就可能是平时训练当中也是应对过很多次这样的一些决策。那再说到马上在后面也是继续背靠背的比赛，你刚刚说过，其实你们打过很多这样带有压力的比赛，但是后面如果说想要在明年在 CN 赛区保留席位，一场都不能输。所以有没有
Is there any words for yourself? Like you know the upcoming days will be very hard.
第一张图打完，我就跟大家说了。
He's like all he says is DRG will be back.
在后面的2场比赛能够看到真正回来。
And that's it for the interview.
再次感谢接受的采访，也是再次恭喜 DRG 获得了本场比赛的胜利。那我们今天的比赛到这里就全部结束了，让把时间交还给解说。
Wow. I mean, first off, the ring and chain drip is on point. I was almost distracted by that. But I think 2 things is, yeah, DRG look back and they will have to be, because now they have to play back-to-back best of 5s if they make the run to grand finals. And obviously, where Adam will have the double band map advantage. But a second, I love that mentality as well that he had as an IGL flexen, right? Being like, at times, right, just do what you want, right? And that I think is really embodying players like Spirit Z1, players like Achman. I mean, I think we kind of even heard it in the team comms, right? I think a bit where like they're like, Achman stay alive, and then it's like, okay, he does, and he also just goes back in for the 2K after that, and that's how that map ends, right? So just kind of like understand that in the moment when the pressure is mounting, sometimes that is how you play the best, just playing so reactively.
I think the big thing is, I can only speak from like my perspective as a coach, is that's good. You know, you want the big thing is you can do whatever, but as long as you're listening and you understand, then that's fine. So for example, Achman wanting to going for that extra peak, you just tell him, hey, know that what you're doing is trolling, but go for it. Like, know that you're taking a bit like
it's
too big of a bite
die.
right now. Yeah, it's only trolling if you die. You look like a god if you actually get it right. So to hear that there's this DRG core has that mentality behind it, I think that's a big thing that you learn from VCT and from competing against the best people. You don't have time. You don't have time to be processing the best option. Just go. Just do what you think is right now. And as we have one more glimpse at the bracket, we have the pretty intense game tomorrow.
Yeah.
AQ, any questions in DRG?
I'm so sad that we're not casting it, and it'll be the amazing Snow and Veggie, but I'm also like, okay, after 2 doubleheader days, we actually get a break, but that is going to be an absolute banger. I'm so concerned that the any questions squad of today is going to show up, and then we won't have a competitive series, but I really want just like 5 maps of what we saw yesterday, like double digits, overtimes and such, because I think those 2 teams, that's what they deserve with how they have been playing this playoffs bracket. And sorry to curse possibly Snow and Veggie with that, but time will tell.
Yeah, unless you have do you have any final thoughts?
I think I lit it out pretty well. DRG is back. Any questions? Hopefully we'll also have a similar turnaround.
Cool. And I've been Wriggle. This has been Zobby. We've been your casters for the last 2 days. This is Project Horizon. If you want to join the community Discord, !Discord in chat. We're very grateful to have you guys here, to have you guys supporting a region that doesn't get as much representation. Yeah, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for, well, we won't see you personally, but Project Horizon is where lower grand finals or lower finals are going to happen. Cool. Cheers, cheers, cheers.